you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio, along with your host, Brian Smith and
Kerry Smith.
Giving y'all the late-breaking, hitting news of the weekend, past week, wrapping it up, making sense of it all. And let me tell you something right now. Today is November 29th, 2015, for those of you listening on iHeartRadio. And if you're listening right now to smithradio.com, and during the week you want to listen to us on iHeartRadio and just kind of pick it up, just go through some of the old shows, you can type in iHeart.smithradio.com. That's Smith Radio, S-M-Y-T-H, obviously. And if you're on Smith Radio, listen to us live 5 p.m. East Coast time. You can call in if you want to give your opinion. Maybe we've missed a detail or two, which is unlikely. However,
it's possible.
I mean, we are human. We are human. But
there are infinite angles with which to dissect a story. So
yes.
Maybe we hit infinity -1, and you might be able to show us the one we missed.
And if that's true, go ahead and pick up your rotary your cell phone and call us 772-49-SMITH, S-M-Y-T-H.
Or you could call the operator and say, patch me through.
What? Hey, Ursula?
Ursula.
Hey, this is Jet. Yeah, don't give me a whole brine. What, he's not around? Oh, you say going to the grocery store, he'll be back later? All right.
Is that how it was back in the day? Oh, my goodness.
Woo! So, as the title of the show today is Planned Parenthood Lies, or Planned Parenthood Attacks, the media lies. They're in a complete and absolute joygasm.
Joygasm.
over the suspects. The suspect.
The liberals, progressives, all the above. The left is just painting the walls. They are plastering with love.
With awesome
they are
sauce.
So excited. They are animated. They are high-fiving each other. They are so happy about deaths at Planned Parenthood by some crazy shooter with what they refer to as assault weapons.
So you mean people died at Planned Parenthood by somebody else's hand and not the doctor's hand?
Oh, right.
That's what they're excited about.
Did I mischaracterize that? Did I make it sound like that people weren't dying? They weren't dying before, and now they are at Planned Parenthood, and now all of a sudden we have to be up in arms or whatever.
Well, we've got an illegal death. See, those other murders of the unborn babies, the murders of the unborn babies.
Thanks to the communists out there on the left,
right.
It is legal to murder.
Correct.
As long as it's done inside of Planned Parenthood by a doctor.
I don't even know if they're doctors anymore.
Well, you can't be, because doctors have to take the Hippocratic Oath.
Right.
Which you have to violate in order to perform your duties as a abortionist.
Right. Right.
So, but no, they're having a joygasm, and they're just excited. This is the best news that they've heard in forever, that there's been a shooting, multiple deaths at a Planned Parenthood.
This is the best story they've had since, I think this was back in the 90s when the Planned Parenthood thing, and it was a preacher. It was a preacher that
was
shot.
Legit. Yeah.
Yeah, he went on,
it was a legit story because the motive came out, and it was known that his motive was to kill the doctor specifically.
Right.
Because he viewed that person as the murderer, and I think he may have even said in his defense, I was defending the indefensible, and he was preventing murder by murdering, which means he was justified or whatever.
Yikes.
I don't know a whole lot about this Planned Parenthood shooting over the weekend, but it sounds to me like it's a lot more like a random killing that just by some stroke of luck for the liberals that it happened to occur in this location.
Well, not only that, but it takes away from the other stories that we would normally be talking about
The
today.
more important stories, yeah. And
the
Brian
communist
is,
takeover,
World War III and all
Right.
that's happening in the Middle East. But, Brian is a little bit disappointed when I said, this is going to be what they're going to be talking about all week.
You're right. You are right. I did run across a soundbite that I did not save. I almost did, but I moved on from it. One of the local news channels in the area was interviewing the head of the Planned Parenthood, this group, this organization in this area, and the news reporter asked her, said, "So, this killer. Have you heard any details about it? Do you know his motives? Is his motives specifically to attack you, Planned Parenthood?" And she was like, "Well, as far as we know, from what the police and law enforcement have found so far, that his ramblings."
And that is the word that she used, I
She
think,
said-
ramblings.
Ramblings were about Planned Parenthood and abortions. Which to me blows my mind. I mean,
that's the first. The
How does
cops
that not
don't
blow
even
you-
say that. The cops aren't even saying that.
How do you?
And the cops have him in custody, and I guarantee you they're interrogating the hell out of him.
How does that not blow your mind that she's upset about this guy killing 3 people, yet they kill babies all day
now
long?
you're justifying. You're justifying.
No, I'm
what
not
he
just.
did.
No. What he did was absolutely atrocious. However, the media and these people are now all of a sudden upset.
Oh, now they're upset because a murder took place that they don't approve of.
Right. The genocide continues with these people.
Very, very good point made there. Definitely.
And after these 3 people died, apparently Planned Parenthood went ahead, like in a motorboat, threw the handle down, full board, and kept killing more babies.
Yeah,
apparently they haven't stopped.
They're going to honor those that died by murdering more.
Yikes!
That's probably what they're going to do.
Is that politically
But I don't
correct?
see the thing. I didn't really want to take it this direction because
Sorry.
I didn't want it to sound like that we're cheering a person like this on. The guy's crazy, and their big argument is how can you be pro-life but be okay with this guy killing? And that's the thing. They're throwing this into the heads of the right. They're telling you what the right believes. They're completely creating a narrative out of thin air. They're lying to you. The media's lying, and this is like a where's this from? Yahoo Politics.
Yeah, and that's not biased.
The shooting at Planned Parenthood put GOP 2016 hopefuls in a, quote, politically uncomfortable position. Now, the quote, politically uncomfortable, comes from a former top Cruz aide.
Oh.
The key word being former. I would like to know why, if he's that important and that smart and that good.
Why is he a former?
Why is he former? Where did he go? And what is he doing now? And why is his top title former aide to Cruz? So right off the bat, I'm not really.
I've got issues with Cruz this week. Oh no, not Cruz. No, Rubio. Sorry.
When do we not have issues with Rubio?
Yeah, Rubio.
Right.
So he's a former aide of Cruz,
This guy, the guy that said,
and he's no longer with Cruz.
well, it says former.
Okay, then I do not respect this man whatsoever.
Right.
Knowing where Cruz comes from and what he stands for.
In fact,
Cruz.
if he is former, and let's say he got fired, or I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he stepped down because of irreconcilable differences.
His wife is ill, he had to take leave.
Well, no, I'm just saying that what if he left because of differences?
Okay.
If his wife was sick, he doesn't become the former. He just takes some time off.
Oh, that's the Family Leave Act. FMLA.
Okay. So anyway, that's who said politically uncomfortable. But here's how the author of this is from Yahoo Politics. But so it starts off with the guy's name that killed the people at Planned Parenthood his name is Robert Louis Deere.
Okay.
And he was taken into custody outside the Planned Parenthood Center in Colorado Springs. And this was on November 27th. And let me pause for a second while I turn this thing down. My goodness.
pause for station
Okay.
identification.
So back to the article. The motive for the shooting that took place outside a Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado Springs on Friday still isn't clear. Thank you for this tiny morsel of journalistic integrity. But all three of the top Democratic presidential candidates quickly rushed to express their support for the organization.
Well, hold on. You just said top 3 Democrat nominated?
I don't even
Top
know if there's
3?
a top 2.
Top 3?
Well, there is top 2, but 3.
Okay, so one's got 40, one's got 40, and the other one's got 10.
20,
Maybe.
Not even 20, because there's also trace minerals.
Trace elements
Trace
lingering. lingering.
You know, some poisonous stuff. You know.
Hey, well, what about what party
Arsenic.
was D's nuts running on?
I think he was independent.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. And it turns out he was 15, so it didn't work.
Well, he legally changed his name to D's Nuts.
Right. You would think he'd be able to legally change his age so that he could run.
It depends on well, if you're
Probably
Democrat, they
do
got ways.
that.
They got ways.
Probably do that.
Dead people vote.
So, meanwhile, the leading Republicans, all of whom have spoken out against Planned Parenthood. So, where's that suggestion? That's suggesting that they
they're
agree with the
polarizing.
shooter.
Yes, they're polarizing.
Oh.
They're already polarizing the article.
They have largely remained silent about the shooting. Operatives and largely remained. By the way, Cruz came right out and said something. But
Okay.
we got to ignore that because there's a lot of other candidates who didn't say anything. Operatives from both parties suggested to Yahoo News that the incident puts the GOP field in a tough spot because of its opposition to Planned Parenthood. The organization is the country's largest provider of abortions. Excuse me. 3 people were killed in the shooting. One of the victims was a police officer who responded to a call for help. The suspect had been identified as Robert Louis Deere, who was reportedly captured on the scene in Colorado Springs after surrendering to law enforcement. Was he captured or did he surrender? I guess you could do both. I don't know. I'm getting overly critical.
Okay, well, no. I mean, if the cops put their hands up, now if the cops put the guns at him, and he puts his hands up,
All right. If you're in your house and your dog is across the room, and you say, "Get over here," and he actually comes, when you grab his collar, is that capturing him?
yeah, by submission.
But did you capture him?
No,
Because the word capture kind of
means to go out and
implies
grab.
that he was fleeing.
Right.
Okay,
No.
so whatever. Maybe I'm getting a little... All right. So according to Associated Press, Deere had spent part of his time living in a North Carolina shack, and his neighbors described him as an incoherent loner with no known political or religious leanings. Interesting. So
Wow.
another morsel of fact
That you have to read into
that
the
the
article.
neighbors don't even know.
But you have to read into the article to find this out.
Well, here's the thing. By even pointing out that there's no known political or religious leanings, the fact that they're even pointing that out tells you what the motive of the author is.
Right.
That this is exactly what he's going after. Was that he was a right-wing, far-right evangelical Christian who is murdering Planned Parenthood doctors or whatever. And by the way, I still haven't heard about these other 2 victims. One was a police officer responding to the scene. The other 2, who are these people? We'll find out. Maybe not. So anyway, however, John Suthers, the Republican mayor of Colorado Springs, suggested people could draw conclusions about a motive for the attack by drawing inferences from where it took place.
No, what? No.
John Suthers, you turncoat by the way, they point out that he's a Republican, but he's a Republican mayor of a Colorado town.
Which is
He's
kinda-
probably high as a kite.
Right.
He probably ran on legalizing pot.
Right.
So whatever. I don't know. Hey, am I allowed to draw conclusions because you're a mayor in Colorado?
Yep.
Even though Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Maybe we've drawn a new line here. Let's do that. So anyway, President Obama issued a statement on the shooting Saturday. Of course he did. That did not address the question of opposition to abortion as a potential motive. Instead, the president suggested that the incident is further proof that we need to take all guns away from everybody.
What?
Actually,
No.
the actual text is the need for stronger gun control.
Which
is
means,
what I just said.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and Hillary came out this week and was just shocked that the GOP candidates, just shocked that none of the GOP candidates came to side with her and to stand for gun control after Paris.
Hold on, but here's the difference.
After Paris.
Even this article points out that the three leading Democrat potential nominees came out in support of Planned Parenthood.
Oh. Okay.
Nobody on the right is going to come out and say, oh my gosh, I was so against Planned Parenthood, but now that this horrible attack happened, it's like France. Nobody cared about France before the terrorist attack. Now everybody's coming in support of France. Do they expect us to come out and say, gosh, we were calling them murderers because they were murdering so many babies. But now that this attack happened on Planned Parenthood, I'm going to change my mind and come out in support of Planned Parenthood. No! I'm not going to come out in support of Planned Parenthood because some crazy nut job whose motives are still yet unclear.
Right.
Oh, what a bunch of morons.
And the numbers that we were talking about before, out of all black women in New York who become pregnant, 50 to 51% of those pregnancies are terminated by abortion.
Yeah, I mean, how about if I come out in support of the black race by opposing Planned Parenthood?
Hashtag support blacks.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Hashtag close all Planned Parenthood butcher shops.
Yep. Black lives win.
There you go. Quote, we don't know yet whether what this particular gunman's so-called motive was for shooting 12 people or for terrorizing an entire community when he opened fire with an assault weapon and took hostages at a Planned Parenthood center in Colorado. What we do know is that he killed a cop in the line of duty, along with two of the citizens that the police officer was trying to protect. Obama said, adding, "This is not normal." Thank you, Captain Obvious. Thank you. Thank you for that. Man, I'll tell you what, before he said that, I actually thought that maybe this was normal.
I thought that this was just run-of-the-mill kind of thing.
Quote, we can't let this become normal.
No, you're lying.
I swear that's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah.
So, what? Yeah. So we can't allow murders to become normal.
Well, actually, if you're pro-Planned Parenthood, I guess that's what you are trying to do.
Shut them down.
And by the way, it has become normal at Planned Parenthood anyway. So
yeah, it's the norm.
How are you going to be a person who clocks into Planned Parenthood every single day and even act shocked at witnessing death there?
No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The three top Democrats vying to be Obama's successor all addressed the shooting on Twitter. Both frontrunner Hillary Clinton and former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. Martin O'Malley's a frontrunner? Okay, well, anyway.
I had no idea.
Exactly.
I thought he dropped out.
They issued expressions of support for Planned Parenthood. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont took things a step further, suggesting we should kill everybody in support of Planned Parenthood. I'm sorry. Whoa. Suggesting anti-abortion rhetoric could have encouraged the attack. Interesting. Wow. that anti-abortion rhetoric could have encouraged the attack, yet nobody wants to talk about the anti-cop rhetoric that could have caused all the violence in the past year.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the fact that the cops are afraid to do their job now. And by the way, they're getting randomly shot. What about the Texas sheriff that got killed at the gas station?
Just walked up point blank.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about the anti-cop rhetoric that may have led to that.
Well, because Obama started all that rhetoric.
Right.
So
Can
you
we
can't
not
get-
just go ahead and just shoulder the entire blame for all this violence against cops and violence in general in the cities where cops are like, dude, we can't do our job anymore.
Right.
We might get videotaped and then it will be edited the way that they want to make it look like cops are murdering random black people. And so they flat out say, and this has been reported pretty widely, that there's times where they're supposed to respond a certain way and they're just like walking away. The cops are walking away from protecting innocent people because it puts them in a situation where they're putting everything on the line.
Unless you're in Chicago.
In which case they do what?
In which case the cop tells a young 15-year-old to stop. He doesn't stop. They find out subsequently he's hopped up on PCP or something.
Didn't they shoot him like 16 times? That's the new thing now in Chicago, right?
They said that it lasted all of about 4 seconds.
Okay.
1 second, one bullet. The teen hit the ground. The cop ran up and unloaded every single bullet into the kid while
started borrowing other people's guns to unload.
They said while he was laying face down on the ground, the cop continued to unload.
You know the way you're
entire clip,
and then reloaded.
It was a Glock 19, so he had 19. No, actually, I think he had 17 bullets in him.
Yeah, they said they shot him. That he shot him
Glock,
17 times.
Yeah, Glock 17.
Good thing that 17th one killed him because he didn't have any more bullets.
Well, a passersby who also saw the Gentle Giant fall, coincidentally.
The same people.
It's that guy that ran through Cincinnati on the news. Is like, man in the bush.
Huh?
He said, this guy, he's got glasses and a hoodie on.
Oh, right. That guy. Was he in Cincinnati?
He was also yes.
He's in several locations.
He was on Channel 9 News.
Oh, no.
And it was a blonde, older, woman, like a kind of a mom, that he did that to.
Oh, does she not watch YouTube? Is that what the problem
right.
is? You got to watch the memes. Come on. Oh, for those of you that don't know, look up F dash 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 in the P dash dash.
Is that how you find that?
I except replace the dashes with the actual letters,
okay.
And you will find this guy who has become a sensation.
Well, he's done it in a couple different cities, and one of the most recent ones that I've seen is that the news report is like, and we have John Smith here who says that he saw everything. John, what is it that you want to tell everybody? And he's like, well,
and they'll
like
start
I'm
out
saying,
normal. They'll start
is
out normal.
Her in the boop.
Right. I wish we had the sound bite with you bleeped it out already. We'll have to prep
we'll
that for next week or something. That way we can play it every week for you guys.
Producer will get it going.
So anyway, Sanders wrote, I strongly support Planned Parenthood. Of course you do. And the work that it's doing, murdering millions of babies. I hope people realize that bitter rhetoric can have unintended consequences. You know what? I wish that you guys knew that with regards to Black Lives Matter.
He said bitter rhetoric?
It says, right? He wrote it. He wrote, I hope people realize that bitter rhetoric can have unintended consequences, unquote.
Can he read his own writing?
Maybe an aide, a top aide, a former top aide.
A former top aide can read it back to him.
Okay, maybe. That's possible.
And then someone can instruct him on what it means that he wrote.
Okay, and then maybe he would understand that that maybe he's literally admitting that, okay, maybe the BLM crowd is responsible for the gunman running up on the sheriff in Texas at the gas station and shot him in the back of the head like a coward.
Right.
Anyway, indeed, all of the leading Republican candidates have expressed opposition to Planned Parenthood. Okay, that's fine. Is that a problem? Is that a problem? I'm against murder, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And almost none of them have made any public comment on the shooting. Let me play devil's advocate on behalf of the right real quick. 3 people were killed in a shooting. Okay, fine, whatever. The only reason this is news is because the the left in the media, in the journalist propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, are having a joygasm, painting the walls and ceiling all over the entire United States with awesome sauce. They are high-fiving each other. They're so excited. They're just screaming with joy.
You know what can make this one notch better for them?
Please indulge me.
Is if he had Confederate flag.
Oh my goodness.
An American flag and a Tea Party bumper sticker.
And he was in a white hoodie. No, a hood.
A white hood, and when he took it off, he had a trifold hat.
Well, if you look at his mug shot, you could tell that this is the poster child for what the left uses as a caricature of the Republican voter, which is an old white guy with a gray beard, and he's crazy. And, by the way, they love that they can tell you that he lives in a shack in the middle of the woods of North Carolina.
Yeah, and it's
in the Appalachian Mountains. I mean,
and his neighbors have no idea. We don't even know him.
They're disappointed by that. They want to be able to say, "Oh yeah, he raises the Confederate flag every morning and plays Dixie.
He plays Dixie
on his banjo."
Oh.
And by the way, we don't need to tell you that because you can just imagine.
Dueling banjos.
He plays both banjos, one on each hand, at the same time. No, he runs back and forth. He goes, then he runs over to the guitar, and he does the other side.
Oh, it's just like Bugs Bunny that was playing baseball. Bugs Bunny, I'm pitching. Bugs Bunny catching. Bugs Bunny first base.
Yes.
Bugs Bunny second base.
Yeah, you need to definitely look that up if you're listening right now. Go ahead and get on the YouTubes. That was one of the greatest Bugs Bunny cartoons ever, was the baseball one. It was one of the first ones, too.
It probably won an Academy Award for it.
It should have if it didn't. So Senator Ted Cruz of Texas is the only major Republican presidential hopeful who has tweeted about the incident. Quote, "Praying for the loved ones of those killed, those injured, and the first responders who bravely got the situation under control in Colorado Springs," unquote. Yahoo News reached out to the campaigns of all other leading Republicans to see if they had any comment on the shooting. As of this writing, Anna Epstein, a spokeswoman for businesswoman Carly Fiorina, was the only one to respond. Quote, "Carly will be on the Fox News Sunday tomorrow, and she'll likely react then. But for now, we just want to say, good job, shooter!" I mean, I just added that in, but you know
that's what they want
to
hear.
Yes, I'm just telling you what they're hoping that you get out of this.
Right.
There was no comment on the shooting from representatives for real estate mogul Donald Trump, former neurosurgeon Ben Carson, and Ohio Governor John Kasich, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, and former Governor George Bush of Florida, and Senator Paul of Kentucky, or Governor Chris Christie. All 9 of these Republicans have spoken out against Planned Parenthood, which is a clear indication that if it weren't for the shooter, they would have done it themselves. I mean,
you're right.
And express their support for taking federal funds from the organization. So what are you trying to say? That because of the shooting, they should reverse and say, you know what? In honor of those killed on Friday at Colorado Springs, we're gonna make you feel better by pledging to vote for or support the dumping of taxpayer money into the murder of innocent babies.
Right.
Am I wrong? Am I right?
That's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, okay. Cruz has led a congressional push to defund. There's one letter different there. Defund Planned Parenthood by threatening a government shutdown. How is this relevant to some crazy guy shooting up a Planned Parenthood?
I have no idea.
I mean, literally, how are you making this connection here? Can you believe that in light of this shooting, Cruz has... Are you shocked to find out that Cruz has led a congressional push to defund this poor organization that is the victim of
You don't
some
understand.
right-wing extremist who lives up in a mountain cabin in North Carolina where Confederate flags have been
Fly
hung
high.
since the founding of this illegitimate, evil country. I mean, seriously.
They were flying Confederate flags before the Civil War.
They were flying the Confederate flag when the first boats hit the shores to exterminate the indigenous people.
Oh, that's
of
exactly
the
what
lands.
they did.
They came with the Confederate flag
You
flying
mean
high.
on the Mayflower?
No, before the Mayflower.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was.
Wow.
And we're just giving you history, guys.
You know, Obama said this week that the Syrian refugees are like the pilgrims on the Mayflower.
And how is that?
I don't have the article, but I remember reading it. He said that.
Because it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes!
Oh my goodness.
He's got to destroy the American heritage. The American
that is,
way.
and it's not just him. He's just the leading communist in America today. This is
Wait till you get the next communist up for bids. He's going to try and continue the ball rolling.
exactly. And by the way, both leaders in the Democrat primary are both diehard communists. So just FYI, I'm not sure about Martin O'Malley. He may be if he's got a D by his name. I'm going to go ahead and play it safe and assume he's a full-blown communist.
Until I know better.
Yeah, because that's playing it safe, honestly.
Well,
No
if
joke.
you see a wolf dressed with it looks like a wolf.
He's a wolf and he's dressed like a wolf.
Right. It doesn't look like a puppy.
Okay.
It looks like a full-grown wolf.
All right.
Foam coming out of his mouth.
Oh, a rabid wolf.
See, you're guessing.
Oh,
He
see,
might
I'm-
just be out of breath, but you don't know.
he may have just brushed his teeth and hasn't even washed out his mouth yet.
He took an Alka-Seltzer, didn't understand what it was all about.
That's possible. So you're saying that I shouldn't prejudge?
However, you probably ought to stay on the porch with your gun.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
all-
You should be a bigot regardless, is what you're saying. All right. So a Democratic operative who
Aren't they all operatives?
well, okay.
Right.
A Democratic operative who works in Colorado told Yahoo News they believe the shooting will hurt the GOP field because it, quote, reminds voters of the relentless Republican campaign against women's health and the right to choose, unquote.
Okay,
you know what?
yeah,
The only
officially
thing,
it's shooting out of my eyes. Officially, right now.
this is infuriating. The only thing that I got to give props to the author for is that at least they had the integrity to call this guy a Democratic operative. Wow. Reminds voters of the relentless Republican campaign against women's health. Because everybody knows that the most healthy thing you can do for a woman is to reach up into her with fork, knife, and scissors and
Yikes!
gouge out
An unborn child.
right out of her.
Right out of her womb.
And to murder it either before or after. Yank it.
Yeah,
that
because-
is the healthiest thing you could
Right,
do.
because if it's still alive when you pull it out and you didn't want it, then you've got to kill it then.
Well, because if you don't, it's not as healthy for the woman.
Well, unless you've got...
I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Unless you've got the buyer on the back end who wants it alive still.
Oh, because you got to keep it fresh until it gets to its final destination.
Right, it needs the brain functioning
Right.
for their...
Because they may be doing
Scientific,
tests with
right.
infant MRIs.
Right?
Or CAT scans.
Sure.
And they need a live one to have that happen.
Yeah.
And if you think we're tongue-in-cheek joking,
I
if
think there's
they
eight,
could
is there
make
eight-
money...
Is there 8 videos out now? I think there's...
Oh, no, those are highly edited. What the...
So when he says, I want to buy a fetus from you, I will pay you money.
Yeah, but those are highly edited. highly. They are still...
I mean, it's a
oh my gosh.
montage, but whatever.
They also suggested the shooting would highlight Republican opposition to gun control. Listen, guys, gun control is anti-human rights because our Second Amendment allows everybody to bear arms for a reason. It is a human right to be able to defend yourself. And to take that away from somebody is taking away a basic human right. And when they use craziness like this as a way to take away your rights, you need to stand up and say, oh, no, you didn't.
LiveActionNews.org. Forensic analysis confirms Planned Parenthood videos were not manipulated.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, you did see. If you watched any of the Planned Parenthood videos, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say you watched an edited version because they were like 10 hours long. But here's the key. Those 10-hour videos were available from day one from the website of the person who originated them. You could go. They directed everybody to see the raw footage. They were not highly edited when you go and watch the raw footage.
So Planned Parenthood hired Fusion GPS, a firm which Weekly Standard points out is an opposition research firm with ties to the Democrat Party and has a history of harassing socially conservative Republican donors, possibly on behalf of the Obama campaign, to analyze the videos. And they said they were doctored.
Doctored?
Oh!
What doctored? We are talking about the Hippocratic Oath here.
The videos on Planned Parenthood were doctored up.
Oh, my goodness. Well, they should have said butchered.
Whoa.
They should have said butchered.
Which is sounding legitimate.
These, no pun intended, but these are butchered.
By butchers.
Yeah, okay. So in messages to Yahoo News, Amanda Carpenter, a Republican strategist and former top aide to Cruz, acknowledged that the shooting could be politically uncomfortable for GOP candidates because they opposed Planned Parenthood and also abhor the violent shooting. Carpenter suggested that the candidates should have followed Cruz's example and commented on the shootings regardless of their stance on abortion, which, by the way, this is why you don't work for Cruz anymore, Amanda.
Yes, I was going to say exactly. That's why she doesn't work for him anymore, because of what she's saying right now.
Because you need to shut your pie hole.
Pie hole, shut it.
Okay. Quote, candidates can choose to avoid commenting on the crisis, but a president cannot, Carpenter said. Quote, while it's prudent to wait for all information, such as what the motive was,
right?
Just saying.
Yep, just saying.
While it's important or prudent to wait for all information, GOP candidates could easily be able to express sorrow whether this situation is politically uncomfortable or not. Carpenter went on to describe the silence in the Republican field as, quote, sad. This is why you don't work for the Republican nominees anymore.
Right. That's insanity.
Because you need to just shut up. Quote, this event happened 24 hours ago. So she's going on to dig holes that she doesn't need to be digging. This event happened 24 hours ago, and lives were lost. It's sad more candidates can't show their support for those in mourning. How about those in mourning? Does anybody mourn for the children lost?
I am right now.
Republicans can disagree with what Planned Parenthood does and grieve for those injured and killed, she said. Being pro-life means opposing murder, period. She is literally saying that by not opposing this immediately, that they are agreeing with him shooting up this Planned Parenthood and killing people in a Planned Parenthood
So where does
building.
she work now?
Nowhere. She may actually work for the Democrat Party, just saying. Oh, my gosh. Being pro-life means opposing murder, period. Law enforcement lives are at risk each day, thanks to the Democrats, FYI. As shown in Colorado yesterday, they need our support more than ever. So not saying anything means we don't support the cop that was killed?
That is the dumbest.
And the GOP should never hesitate to give it. Support for cops. So she's saying that they're hesitating, and by hesitating that means, and at the very bottom, mugshot of crazy guy in orange, which is not coincidentally the color of
Dude looks like a loony bird.
Yeah, you didn't see him?
He's
a loony bird. He's totally loony.
Dude, he's drunk in that photo.
Drunk
or high
and
on,
high.
On crack cocaine.
He's high on uppers and downers.
He doesn't know if he's coming or going.
Oh, jeez. Oh, so that's the end of the article, and I just had to share. The reason I shared that article, and there's probably a million others, but the whole point of this segment of our show is I wanted to highlight that the left saw this. They had a joygasm. They're excited. They're high-fiving each other, and they are lying to you. This is the source of the lying propaganda that they're going to use to try to get you to hate the right. And they're making up all the things that were in that article that they're using to get you to dislike the GOP candidates are made up. It's made up. Not responding quick enough or not saying anything becomes a massive statement. And they're telling you what the statement is. And we don't know what this guy's motive is. They're just saying, well, you know what? It was a Planned Parenthood, so the motive is pretty clear. Like I was telling Brian earlier before the show, does that mean that if by just some crazy chance that instead of a Planned Parenthood, it was a Subway, does that mean that this guy clearly opposes pedophiles?
Or Subways.
No, definitely. If Jared didn't do what he did and get convicted of pedophilia or whatever,
correct,
that this shooter would not have done that. And since we don't know exactly what his real motive is, we can tell by the target. And by the way, let me give you this. If I go into a crowded subway station with an Uzi and I pull the trigger and hold it down while spinning like a top.
Okay.
And it just so happens that a couple of lefties were the ones that got killed. Can we make
an inference? Can we infer?
Can we, first of all, can we call those that got killed a target?
They will. They'll call it a target. However, what were you aiming at?
Okay.
Obviously, if you're spinning like a top.
I will willfully admit right now on the air that it's a stretch for me to say that when this guy took over and took hostages at a Planned Parenthood, it is a huge stretch for me to say that it was complete coincidence that it was a Planned Parenthood and that it could have been a Subway.
Wow.
It's a stretch. I'm going to admit that. But I also will point out to everybody that we actually don't know what the motive of this guy was. We really don't. It is very possible, based on what we know so far, that we have no freaking clue that this could have been, coincidentally, a Planned Parenthood that he, quote, as the media will tell you, targeted. Because is it... When I go into a crowded subway station, I'm sorry, when I say subway, I mean an actual train subway.
Yeah, I keep thinking
I'm
of
sorry.
Jared.
I'm sorry.
You got me on
bus station, train station.
Train, okay.
Okay, I go into Grand Central Station during rush hour, go right to the center of it with an Uzi, and start spinning it like a top. Was that a target? I mean, were the people that I hit, were they targets?
Yes. Well, you were shooting at them.
Well, when I'm captured, do I say, well, I'm glad I hit that guy and not the other guys?
No.
Well, then I wasn't targeting them. It was completely random.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I'm down with that. I understand that.
Yeah, it wasn't a target.
Hey, so the police say Colorado Springs, this is the AP reporting, the man who police say staged a deadly shooting attack on Planned Parenthood clinic that offers abortion services said, quote, the man was saying this, quote.
What man?
The gunman. The gunman.
Okay, what did he say?
The cop said they heard the gunman say after his arrest, no more baby parts.
That's what the cop said that he said.
Yeah, I said no more baby parts.
No more baby parts. Was he mad that he didn't get his delivery? Maybe he specifically requested.
They took me off the list of baby parts.
Well,
I was supposed to receive my packages weekly, and you've missed it for the last 6 weeks. You've missed.
Maybe he's a cannibal.
I look
who
at
has
him.
who has a I mean, look, if you look at him, okay, so you know what the left is doing. They look at him and say, "Oh my gosh, it's Uncle Jesse."
Oh, right, it is Uncle Jesse.
It's Uncle Jesse. Clearly, and by the way, for those of you that don't know, millennials might not know this. Uncle Jesse was Daisy Dukes' dad.
Right.
Daisy Duke's dad.
Right.
Was Uncle Jesse. So anyway, so what I'm saying is he looks a little bit more like a cannibal.
Right.
That's my take on it. And if he's mad at Planned Parenthood and his words were no more baby parts,
Right.
maybe he's mad that he's not getting his baby parts anymore. He can't get them anymore. They stopped selling them. Right. They were selling them before. After the videos, they're not selling them anymore.
Well,
I'm reporting to you. We're breaking it here.
Planned
on Smith
Parenthood
Radio.
is now, after this, has thrust them back in the limelight. They're now saying that they deny that they've ever sought or continue to seek any payments beyond illegally permitted reimbursement costs for donating the organs to researchers.
So you're saying they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and now they're just going to pledge that we're not going to steal cookies anymore.
Correct. They say,
all right.
Since the videos, we've seen a rise in threats. This isn't fair. We denounce that barbaric killing spree in Colorado Springs by a violent madman.
Okay, so why don't we get rid of violent madmen?
That is a really good idea. I think Trump was kind of advocating for more sane asylums. Crazy, but the crazy dude, this guy would be a candidate. When you say, "Oh man, I can see a crazy man from a mile away," you can see him from a mile away. He's a crazy man.
Should be allowed. They should have insane asylums, and there should be a very legitimate, rigorous way to institutionalize people. Because and you used to be able to do that. And does that mean that non-crazy people end up getting institutionalized? Maybe.
A Roman Catholic priest who has held weekly mass in front of the clinic for 20 years said Deere was not part of my group. Quote, "I don't know him from Adam."
Is it Adam and Eve or Adam and Steve?
Well, he said he didn't know him from Adam.
Okay.
But if he had a partner, he probably would have said Adam and Steve.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
So,
all right.
You know,
I don't know him from Adam.
Ergo.
All right. I don't know him from Jesse. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I can't tell the two apart.
Gee, that does. I mean, I'm looking at his mugshot, and he looks like he'd be better off in prison. I mean,
yes.
You know?
Yeah. In fact, he kind of looks like the guy who abducted Elizabeth Smart.
Smart? Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
A little bit.
They let him out?
Yeah.
After just a couple of years.
Took up not just any weapon or any gun, but an assault weapon.
Hey, if I took a baseball bat and bashed somebody's skull in.
I'm going to call it an assault bat.
I mean, because technically.
What about my fists?
Oh.
Can that be an assault fist?
Well, they classify Michael Tyson. Michael Tyson.
Mr. Michael Tyson.
Have they ever called him Michael Tyson?
Nobody called him Michael.
Where did that come from? Mr. Producer.
Out of your head.
Why is my teleprompter sitting?
Well, by the way, all of this is read. We're reading all of this.
Scripted.
Yep.
So
just FYI.
So, but Mike Tyson's fists are legal weapons.
Even now?
Oh, I don't think those come off the market.
Oh my!
And now his teeth.
What's wrong with his teeth?
They're legal weapons too.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa!
Oh,
Too soon?
You got me on that.
Too soon?
Too soon. It's been what, decades?
Hey, speaking about Jared.
Yeah.
He was in front of the judge this week, crying and sobbing.
Did we not break that last week, or is this week's news?
Well, they
no. What we were going to say it. They gave him 15 and a half years or
15
something.
and a half, right.
But it was at the back end of our show last week, and we didn't have time to hit it because we had a stack the size
we had
of
to
the
hit
ceiling.
it and quit it. I mean, that's just what happened to
There
happen.
was 3 seconds left, and I was like, oh, and Jared got 15 years. See you later, guys.
Peace.
Yeah, and then
Right.
music was playing.
So it was 1 year per victim plus a year because there was 14 victims.
So you're saying I could go ahead and do this and just get a year?
Yeah, 1 year per victim plus a year.
Oh, so it'd be
So
2 years.
No, he had 14
No,
victims.
if I had one victim
Yeah, you'd get 1 year.
plus one,
Yes.
so it'd be two.
Two, right,
Ooh,
correct.
I don't know if that's worth it.
Well, it is in groups because if you're talking about 14
Oh, there's
people.
a group rate.
Yeah, he
It's
got a group rate.
Gotcha.
He got 14 years for 14 people plus one. So
But is there
15.
shipping and handling? Because that's
It was the
sometimes
6 months because he got 15 and a half years. So that's 6 month.
shipping and handling.
Right. It's
Gotcha.
It's the pork chop tax on the back end.
Oh. Anyway,
inside family joke, folks. Whoa.
just keep it in the family. I
Keep
guess.
it. Oh, no.
Oh,
So breaking as breaking can all be, and I know not that we're late to the game on this, but unless certainly you live underneath a big giant rock. Well, I will break this. This is breaking before we get to World War III. Just before everybody left to go for Thanksgiving, and the media and everybody left,
yep.
Obama signed over 147 new regulations.
Oh, God, this is so typical.
Just pencil whipped it the day before Thanksgiving.
If we had our heads screwed on straight, last week we would have pointed out that Thanksgiving's coming up, so we need to be on regulation watch. There should be a regulation watch task force
true.
who gets employed right before the big holidays.
True. Guarantee.
So the weekend before Christmas, expect another giant package of regulations.
So on November 24th, which was Tuesday. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Thursday. On Tuesday morning, when I was watching The Wire, as news was flowing through, I think I was 20 minutes late to the game, but I saw breaking news Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the morning that Russia, one of their Su fighter jets, was flying near the Syrian border, and Turkey claims that they notified this warplane.
Well, they claim that it was in their airspace.
Right, and they claim that they notified him almost a dozen times.
A bunch of times.
Right, and then went ahead and shot him down.
After saying, turn around.
However,
and all of this chatter was on open channels and was picked up by the U.S., who verified it.
Right.
And said, yeah, that happened.
Well, there's reports saying that the fighter jet may have been in the airspace for less than 3 seconds.
Interesting. So there must be a dispute over where the border was in relation to the plane, or the plane, where the plane was. Was it over? Was it not? How long was it over? Sounds to me like Turkey mistakenly thought they were in the airspace longer than they were.
Right.
And I just watched Top Gun the other day.
Oh, man!
And, Tom Cruise got in big trouble because during one of his play dog fights in the Top Gun school, he went below the deck, which is out of bounds.
Right.
For just a few seconds to follow the instructor he was trying to shoot down, who also went below the deck.
So is the instructor allowed to go below the deck also?
The way that they explained it was, hey, I'm the instructor. I'll do what the hell I want. But you are not to go below the deck. We are doing this for your safety and the safety of everyone else and the crew and all the ground turtles.
Okay, so you as the instructor, knowing that I shouldn't go below the deck, you went below the deck knowing that I was about ready to kill you.
That's what Tom Cruise was trying to imply that may have been happening. Right. And so he said, I'm not going to let you get away with that. I'm going to stay with you, even if it means going below the deck, which he did, he claims, for 3 seconds.
And he killed Jester.
He got Jester,
killed him, and they're saying the kill didn't count because he was out of bounds.
Right. And then he said, Val Kilmer then said, you are a danger to everybody around you. And then...
Is that when he did the thing with his teeth?
Yes. And then Tom Cruise said, that's right. I am dangerous. I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He chomped his chomper. When I go back to that movie and I look back at some of those scenes, like especially the volleyball scene.
Well, I just talked to your brother.
Where they ripped their shirts off?
Your brother talked to me the other day about watching it just recently.
And they oiled themselves up to get ready to play sand volleyball.
It's all about safety. That's why you don't go below the deck.
Right.
But you also don't go out into the sun without sun protection.
Okay, so they were lubed up with Crisco oil.
Right. Maybe it was accelerator.
And so Val Kilmer said, Tom Cruise, why we warming ourselves up? We're going to get sand all over us.
It'll stick to us.
And Tom Cruise replied, we're going to flex it off.
So they flex really hard.
And flex the sand
and
off.
the sand pops off because their muscles are so bulging.
That movie was so
homoerotic.
Is that what it is? It was so flamboyant.
Well, if you're a woman, you might be like, oh my God. I don't know. Unless you're a lesbian, then you wouldn't say that.
You would be, oh my God.
Why is your voice so low? Are you taking hormones?
It's from working out so much to defend myself and my wife.
Okay.
Gotta stay strong. And I'm believing guns. I'm believing these guns.
These guns.
These arms.
Welcome to the gun show.
Whoa.
Check out my flannel.
So
anyway.
So she shreds her flannel. So they shot down the fighter jet, and the pilot, two pilots ejected, parachuted down. It was thought that they were shot at while they're parachuting down. However,
well, the only reason anybody thinks that is because the pilots are dead, and so I was thinking, oh, they must have got killed by the air-to-air missile or air-to-ground-air missile, whatever it was that shot them down. And it turns out, no, they ejected. So then what killed them then? ISIS came out and claimed that they killed the pilots by shooting at them on the way down, which is the top most cowardly thing that a soldier could do.
Well, according to the Geneva Convention, it is an act of war. It's a violation.
It's a violation.
Yeah, a war crime. It is classified as a war crime.
I think at this point in history, from everything that we've known that's been going on since probably the 70s, let's say, I think we can safely say that if you're an Islamic terrorist, you are automatically, by definition, a war criminal.
Yeah. Yes.
And also, there are no real rules in war. Have you ever heard the saying, all is fair in love and war? Well, if you make a Geneva Convention, okay, which we have done, we're talking civilized countries, a lot of people don't realize this. Even people on the news, let me tell you, I'm gonna explain something, and I know we've covered this in an episode a long time ago, so I'm going to go ahead and reiterate it again. It needs to be refreshed. It is a fact of life that the rules are there for both sides to use as a guideline to keep the war from just becoming ridiculously inhumane and just barbaric. However, once one side violates the Geneva Convention or the agreed upon rules or unwritten rules or whatever morals you're going by, whatever moral code, once one side violates that, you then erase that war or that rule. You have to erase it. You cannot abide by it anymore, because for one side to adhere to rules of war that the side that they're fighting against will not adhere to is tying your hands behind your back, and it's no longer humane for the soldiers on the ground or in the air to have to follow those rules.
Right. Because
the other side is not. And so my point is that in the case of shooting down a pilot that's parachuting, he's no longer a combat effective soldier.
Well, apparently,
and that's why you don't shoot him. He's a prisoner of war, even in the air.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
And according to RT.com, which is Russian Today, according to the news, the Syrian rebel commander who boasted about killing these two pilots as they were parachuting out appears to be a Turkish ultra-nationalist and the son of a former mayor in one of Turkish provinces.
They know who shot him?
Oh, he claimed. Oh, he came out.
He admitted. He's like, I got him.
He posted the video on YouTube.
Little boy.
Put it on YouTube or something.
What a loser.
So apparently, this guy.
Why didn't he just go capture him? Think about it. What would you rather do, Brian? Would you rather let's say we have an enemy that we feel is attacking us in America, because I know that's what he's thinking.
Right.
Let's just say we believe this foreign person flying around is attacking our country, the United States. He's dropping bombs on us. He's strafing. He's killing, whatever. And you see the plane blow up in the sky, and then you see him parachuting down. You have a choice. You could either shoot him as he's coming down, put the camera in front of your face and say, I did it, I did it, I did it. Or you can go get him and have him alive and say, look what I got. What would you rather do?
Torture him a little bit.
No, I mean, you don't even have to torture him.
No, I'd get money for it. Sure.
I would take him
I got
alive.
it. Oh, of course, of course.
What is?
Well,
Why
here's
would you?
Here's the thing, though. This guy, he's also turned out to be a member of the Grey Wolves ultra nationalist group. And this group, various members, have carried out scores of political murders since the 1970s.
This guy,
him and the group he belongs to,
So-
they're notorious for political murders. My issue is, did he land in the right spot at the right time?
who?
These guys that killed the Russian pilots.
That is a very interesting
And-
question. Was it just extreme luck
And
that he ended up being at the
Right.
right place at the right time?
and he shot. I mean,
You're saying he's
I
lying.
don't know how-
You're
what-
saying he's lying.
No.
He has to be.
No, I'm going deeper.
Oh,
We've got
really?
a rabbit hole.
I want to hear this.
We slipped into some awesome sauce this week.
Oh, you slipped into a hole and landed into. It's actually an awesome sauce well. It's a well. It's a well of awesome sauce. Well, let's hear about it.
So
I want awesome sauce.
Okay, now you and I can look up in the sky and I can see a low flying passenger jetliner,
Right.
and I can usually, 737, 747. It's pretty. The DCs, I don't really know them that well.
I know him.
Okay, but you could. However, fighter jets. Oh, there's a lot of different fighter jets, especially being so small, so high up. The F-16 lawn dart looks a lot like some of the other smaller jets that look like lawn dart.
Well, if they're high enough, a lot of times it's hard to even spot them.
Okay.
You'll hear them before you can spot them. You'll be like, "What's that loud engine noise?"
So that being said, this plane is shot. I saw the video.
Yeah.
It explodes. And if you go to Facebook.com/Smith Radio, you can see the videos. So the video of the plane catching fire like a fireball out of the sky, and then I wouldn't have been able to tell what plane it was. It was that far away. Then you see two people parachuting. Did these guys know who they were killing? Or were they
But
just
who
doing
could-
it for fun?
But who could it be?
Or did they get tipped off?
They could have been tipped off. Like, hey,
Russia's
they're coming
claiming
down.
the U.S. knew this flight pattern for this aircraft.
You're saying that the U.S. tipped off terrorists in Turkey. Did they land in Turkey or Syria? I mean, the
wreckage?
Wreckage. That's the big question. It needs to at least land in Turkey.
You would think it would have landed in Turkey, but being so close to the border, I'm not sure. But that's kind of besides the point right now. Right now, Russia is saying the Obama administration clearly knew of this fighter jet's flight pattern. He was flying sorties. It wasn't that he was just gone rogue and he'd say, you know what, I'm going to fly over this way a little bit.
Given what we know about Obama's support / opposition of what Putin is doing in Syria, this is very possible. There's motive here to do something like that.
Right.
Like Obama's saying, "Oh, you gonna embarrass me? You can embarrass me. You know what? I'll show you what I'll do. I'm gonna tip off the terrorists in Turkey and say, hey, if these guys go." So you're saying that here the Turkish military is up in the air, knowing how close Russia's coming. They're armed and ready to shoot down any Russian aircraft that crosses. They're over for only 3 seconds, and in that 3-second time, they're like, "Oh my gosh, we got the green light! Go, go, go!" and shoots a missile.
Well, I've got another report that is a little bit longer than 3 seconds, but it's definitely just a very short period of time, and they're saying Russia says that there was no warning. They don't have any. They didn't have any warning.
See, now you're saying that the American military is lying because they said it was on open channels. It was listened to by the American military, and they freely admit it. Unless you're saying that they're part of the rabbit hole here.
I don't know.
Conspiracy theory.
Right. So Russia sent in 3 helicopters.
Were they black helicopters?
Black Hawks.
No, black, mysterious
Oh,
black helicopters.
The silent ones.
Yes, they're completely silent.
There is no sound. It's like an electric car.
And if it's at night, they're completely invisible.
Invisible.
They're silent and invisible. They're there all the time.
Silent, and they're violent.
Silent and violent.
So these 3 helicopters go in for the rescue to pick up these pilots.
Why would you need 3? Was it like a 1-seater?
Escorters.
It was like a Cobra.
Escort. And apparently, the Syrian rebels, okay, there's Syria and the president or the dictator Assad, who Russia is propping up. And there's the rebels, who Obama and Hillary originally, back in 2008, funded to overthrow Assad.
Right.
So you've got these rebel rousers that have M16s and Hilux Toyotas, and I mean
heavily armed with Toyotas.
I mean they are looked at upon as the Beverly Hills of ISIS.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Beverly Hillbillies
of ISIS. Okay, so maybe so.
They're driving around in Model A's.
Right. Oh, wow. Wow. So apparently,
well, the first thing you know,
wow, yikes. So these helicopters were going in for the response, and they used what's referred to as a TOW missile. It was most likely supplied through the same U.S. and Turkish-backed logistics program has been reportedly been supplying Alawar al-Sar, who's a terrorist. The rebels' usage of these American-made missiles has increased over 800%.
Well, I can
since over 800% since Russia began airstrikes against these people in September, slowing the regime's offensive.
I'm going to play
dozens of tanks.
I'm going to come out of the rabbit hole a little bit here by instead of going full on conspiracy theory here. I mean, ISIS is driving around in all these millions and millions and millions, maybe billions and billions of dollars in American military equipment. That does not mean that we gave them to them or that we're supplying them with stuff. For them to get shot down with American-bought or American-made missiles, it doesn't really say a whole lot.
No,
really
we've
doesn't.
been supplying these rebels for years. No, it's well known. Hillary talked about supplying the rebels.
Yeah, but they could have supplied them years ago. They could be shooting them down with something that we supplied them with 3 years ago.
John McCain, a.k.a. Rhino, Mr. Rhino, talked about supplying these rebels years ago, of course.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So,
however,
for them to suddenly shoot down a Russian aircraft with something that could be traced back to America now isn't saying a whole lot because of the fact that they have so much American crap now.
I know, but we support, not we as Americans, Obama
and the communists,
and the communists support these rebels wholeheartedly for regime change to overthrow
the Russian-backed
Bashar.
Assad, yeah.
Well, Russia is
it doesn't look good.
Supporting Assad.
Right.
Turkey is part of the UN. America's part of the UN. Russia is not part of the UN.
Okay.
The UN says we're back in Turkey.
So Russia.
Rubio comes out.
This is a big conspiracy.
Rubio comes out and says we must defend Turkey against Russia.
And so that's why you don't like Rubio.
Well, I don't like Rubio for a lot of things, but this, dude, what are you sticking your neck into? This is not something you want to get involved in right now.
Not right now, because here's the thing.
It's a nightmare.
I'm not 100% sure if we should be opposing American communists by supporting Putin, because right now it looks like Putin's trying to kill Muslim terrorists.
Right.
I'm all for that.
Right.
And it seems like he has a more coherent mission. What Obama's doing is intentionally mysterious and intentionally muddying the waters,
right,
because we don't know what his real motive is, or at least I shouldn't say we don't know. We have a good idea, which is to destroy America and prop up and become a Sharian communist country in America.
Right.
I would believe that,
right,
but he doesn't. He knows that can't be a stated goal. It has to be hidden.
Right.
Whereas Putin has a more coherent mission, which is, hey, let's just all get on the same page here. Muslims need to go in the Middle East. We're not going to put up with this crap, so we're going to start killing them like crazy. And that seems like what he's doing. And so we can support that mission. So for Rubio to come out and just pick the side that Obama's on is a little bit problematic, because we know that Obama is an anti-American Muslim.
Right, and I have a big problem with this. I also have an interview with some sound clips of Rush Limbaugh, who was on Fox News this week, who talked, had a couple of different comments to say about the whole ordeal, but we can get to that in a minute. Vladimir Putin, according to Reuters, said, quote, "There was a stab in the back to shoot down a Russian warplane. The Prime Minister of Turkey asserts the nation's right to respond when its airspace has been violated." Okay, you've got an entire country, and one fighter jet violates your airspace. What about the reports that we reported 6 months ago where there were Russian aircraft over Hawaii?
True.
Russian aircraft spotted off of the coast
Right.
of California.
Yeah, true. That absolutely happened, right?
How many of those we shoot down?
So you're saying
How
that
many of those killed
this is
people?
very
I don't know.
interesting. Yeah, it does seem very
It's not-
sneaky, suspicious.
I'm
Something
just-
seems suspicious.
I'm just saying. You see what's going on right now. Russia is putting a huge footprint in the back of ISIS right now. They're literally...
So is Obama mad about that because he wants to be the guy that puts the back? Or is he literally like, hey, I don't want anybody to put any foot on any back of any Islamic extremist country?
ISIS
so
is supposed to take
back
over.
off.
Yeah, ISIS is supposed to take over this entire region, and you're hindering
You're in
their
the way.
plan. Yes.
You're in the way.
Yes.
We need ISIS there, is what Obama's saying.
Correct.
We need them to take over. We need a new Ottoman Empire. We need full Sharia law and a caliphate. We need a caliphate.
You know, I don't want to be that guy.
Do you want to hear? Hey, you want to hear my rabbit hole? This isn't anything I read.
Okay.
See, whenever I give you a rabbit hole to go down, I made it. I made that rabbit hole. I dug it with my e-tool. All right, so here's the rabbit hole. I believe, and believe me, this is a really pro-Obama rabbit hole. But what if Obama or somebody in charge in America needs the caliphate to happen, needs an Islamic state, so that...
To stabilize.
No, not to stabilize.
Okay.
These guys are killers.
Well,
They're going to kill everything that's not Islamic.
true.
They need an Islamic state because you can't declare war on anything except for a state. They need the
No,
state to
I don't
happen.
believe that.
That way they can have an actual conventional war. Without the state, you can't have a war. I mean, we went to Afghanistan. We went to... Okay, let me give you an example. Iraq. We went to Iraq. We removed the entire government. We removed and killed the leader.
Then we removed our troops.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. What you need is an entire Islamic state, not just some guy.
So then what? So then you got an Islamic state is officially recognized.
Well, look at World War I.
Hold on. Okay, so you're telling me that once it's officially recognized,
then you can have
Congress
a real,
will say, "Yeah, go to war."
We declare war. They're going to wait until one good, solid terrorist attack, which instead of saying that's just a bunch of little kids in a hole, a bunch of youngsters that are disenfranchised. Now we have an actual state-sponsored military attack. They won't call it, or they don't have to call it terrorism anymore. They could call it an attack by another country on us as a country, a military operation, and so we can.
Why don't they just stay the boop out of it and let Putin hammer away?
Well, that would mean that Putin gets to dictate what goes on in the Middle East
with all the oil,
that and everything.
Right. Wow. So Russia.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know, but in response,
they need the caliphate to happen in order to go down that route.
In response to all this, Putin sends warships to the Mediterranean on extreme alert to shoot down anything in the sky. He has warned everyone who owns an aircraft, Cessna's included. Anything in the air,
those
we
little
will
drones
shoot them
that you could buy at Toys R Us for $49.
Done.
Oh my
Done.
goodness.
So Obama has. This was by Breitbart. Obama has now created an unwinnable war, while all the 2016 candidates declare their strategies for victory against ISIS. President Obama's leading from behind has now entered the Middle East and the West into a free-for-all that cannot end in any way but poor. And by one of Breitbart's authors.
I don't know what to say about it.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. Obama started this. He didn't start it. He did start it. He started the absolute destabilization to beyond. He went over the event horizon with the destabilization of the Middle East.
By pulling out of Iraq.
Yeah. Him and Hillary removed
Gaddafi.
Him and Hillary attempting...
supported the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
Yeah. Him and Hillary trying to overthrow Assad, supporting rebels who don't even belong to a state, who just out for a walk one night, killing some Americans.
Decided to kill some Americans. What difference does it make anyway?
That was Benghazi. Pulling out of Iraq. We've talked to you many, many nights here on Smith Radio about the whole fall of Iraq. It was a nightmare, and they're driving all our stuff now.
Oh, that's so
because the Iraqi military,
beyond infuriating.
The Iraqi military that we supposedly trained are all Muslim. When they see ISIS come through, they got no choice but to obey. Drop trow. Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! And move on. So what's Putin doing? Putin's putting 150,000 troops on the ground.
Okay, well then riddle me this about my conspiracy theory. Why is it that there is a convoy of supplies going to ISIS from Turkey if that's supposed to be our ally?
ISIS is Obama's ally.
Right. Oh, you're saying that my conspiracy theory doesn't make sense because why would he want to wage war with a state that he supports?
Right. And
you're saying he wants the caliphate to come all the way to America.
And I've got that now. I'm going to dig deep into the stack of stuff.
He just wants us all to be under Sharia law.
That is clip 2I. I've never gone that deep with the letters before.
Wow.
Clip 2I. This is a report by, I guess, a local affiliate of CBS about Muslims, mosques, money, and Obama.
Okay.
There is a lot of outrage this afternoon after a government deficit commission suggested huge cuts, including eliminating the interest deduction for home mortgages. It's in an effort to slash nearly $4 trillion in government spending. Well, we investigated some of that spending and found the State Department sending hundreds of millions of dollars to save mosques overseas. It has many taxpayer groups asking why.
I thought you picked the wrong soundbite.
This 1,300-year-old Egyptian mosque was almost flooded by contaminated sewer water. It and other ancient Cairo mosques and churches were saved from destruction by U.S. taxpayers, part of a $770 million program to rebuild Cairo's sewer system. The checks are written by the U.S. State Department's USAID program.
We're spending money we don't have. This is all, basically on a gigantic credit card right now.
Millions more have been sent to places like Cyprus. The State Department displays before and after pictures of mosques refurbished with U.S. tax dollars.
I think it's very, very hard to explain to the American taxpayer right now who's having an extraordinary time paying their bills and making ends meet.
The State Department refused our request for an interview. We wanted to ask why it's using tax dollars to refurbish religious buildings overseas. Well, the State Department did send us an email saying it is fighting Islamic extremism by building relationships with Islamic leaders.
Crapping me?
But then one former Muslim says trying to buy respect in the Middle East just shows U.S. weakness.
Okay, so the State Department said this is relationship building.
Oh my
$770 million. Almost.
What's really shocking is
just shy of $1 billion.
What's really shocking is that they would dump so much money on people that can't vote for them, because that would be a little bit more. That would be the MO of your average communist Democrat.
Right.
But,
So he is, all the things that I've got in the stack of stuff points to him funding this and his,
but do you buy
his
that?
love for
Is
these
that just a
people.
front?
He's got a love for the brotherhood.
So
It's the richest. We are the richest country that the world has ever seen in all of human history because of capitalism, and now we must pay for that.
We must pay those that
Dearly.
don't have capitalism.
Correct.
Okay.
Because capitalism was
because we sucked the money from
illegitimate
them. They're
capitalism.
he believes that they are so much poorer than us because we've sucked all the resources from them.
Right.
But the trees that we cut down and all that are here in America. That, part like the logging industry.
Well, but that belongs to Allah.
The cotton to make all the
that
clothes.
belongs to Allah. Have you ever heard the story about Allah and the 40 thieves?
No, I actually haven't.
Ali-
I need to do my
Actually,
research.
It wasn't Allah. It was Alibaba.
So anyway.
Hey, there was Bugs Bunny did a cartoon on that. Alibaba.
I'll have to look
The
that
40
one up.
Thieves.
I'm sure I've seen it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, like when I was a kid and didn't really
It was the
understand
one. It was the one where Daffy Duck got sick with the gold and couldn't leave it alone.
Okay.
He got sick.
Oh, is this the story of Aladdin? Is that the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
lamp to Genie.
yeah, the genie.
He told Daffy Duck beat that genie. Don't you dare! I don't care who you think you are. This is mine. All mine. All mine. Mine.
So all I have to do is see Aladdin and I'm good to go.
Either that or watch Bugs Bunny.
Okay. Do the that movie Aladdin's actually pretty long.
Yes, it is.
It has like 5 acts.
I told my kids, I'm like, man, it's time to go to bed. And they're like, no, we just started. I'm like, what do you mean? We're 2 hours into it. Yeah, we just started. We got 4 more hours to go.
That movie is it's like a 3-hour long movie or something.
Wow. So there's a lady who has a radio show herself named Tammy Bruce, who we
Tammy
follow
Bruce.
and we back and forth on Facebook a lot. And she has a lot of really great articles. And this one, she writes, Mr. Obama also says closing the Guantanamo Bay military prison will make us safer. Because according to him, ISIL, another name for Islamic State, uses its existence as a recruitment tool.
Like, look what they're doing to us. This mysterious torture chamber.
Right.
Well, they could, but what do you think, that they're just going to not do anything like that because you close Guantanamo Bay? They're going to find some other target to use as propaganda.
Okay, well, what about this then? I'm glad we're having this little tit for tat and we're slipping down awesome sauce holes. What about this one? This week, Obama and the administration drops millions of leaflets over top of ISIS fuel tankers, warning them that in 45 minutes, we will airstrike.
Oh, well, that gives them an opportunity to get away from the vehicles?
Quote, it says, "Get out of your trucks now and run away from them. Warning, airstrikes are coming. Oil trucks will be destroyed. Get away from your oil trucks immediately. Do not risk your life."
Well, you got to give them fair warning.
It says do not risk your life.
Well, I mean, so you're saying that gave them ample time to hide them?
You can't hide in an oil truck in the desert?
Right. So, I mean, but what's the bad part about dropping the leaflets on them?
It's the enemy.
So kill them, make sure that they're dead.
They're cutting heads off.
Okay. I'll buy that.
I don't know. I'm just.
So you're saying that it's a waste of a missile to blow up an oil tanker if the driver's not in it?
Yeah, because because think about it. I mean, what is that oil tanker really worth? And if you knock out a convoy of oil tankers and no bodies were in there, no drivers, no military, all the military, the support, all the military jeeps that supported the convoy, the troops, the weapons, the stuff. Okay, we drop and run, and you don't get nobody. You just blow up tankers. Look, get more tankers. What have you accomplished?
Well, I mean, it takes a lot of money and resources to get new tankers and fill them up with oil. So it is kind of a drain on them financially to blow those up. I mean, it's like anything else that you do
but
when you destroy stuff in war.
Who's that say you are that you're going to war with somebody and you're giving them a heads? I'm going to bomb you. And I'm a bomb right here. So you probably ought not be there.
Here's my take on it. If it's an innocent civilian, which, by the way, if you're transporting military gear or supplies, you're no longer just a civilian.
Right. I don't care if you're enlisted in the military or not.
And you're in a war.
Right.
And you are in any way a legitimate target or within death range of a legitimate target, at best, you're collateral damage.
Right.
At best.
Right.
At worst, you should have died.
Right.
You actually are a justified killing.
Correct. Okay, what about this? Now, this does come from a pro-Putin member of Russia's parliament.
You can't be in Russia unless you're pro-Putin.
You're in the parliament, and you're not a Russian supporter
they
or
give
a
you a
Putin
radiation
supporter.
pill. They give you a radiation pill.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to hail to the chief.
Yeah, you better. You better.
So this parliament personnel, she's accusing the Obama administration of essentially spending a year of bombing in the Syrian desert as opposed to actually bombing the Islamic State and their targets. She ranted on Twitter that American-trained moderate rebels had all run off to join terrorist organizations.
Then they weren't very moderate.
Right. Well, but hold on. But she says she's cracking on McCain now. She says McCain accused us, meaning Russia, of striking out at U.S. trained insurgents. However, since they've all either run away or joined Al-Qaeda, hitting them is a mission impossible.
Amen. No, I have to agree with this person.
This is Russian parliament.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it.
Okay, so McCain has also complained on a separate note, 75% of all pilots that returned to base returned without firing a weapon during the fight against the Islamic State group, according to Fox News.
So he's agreeing with the Russians, too.
You know how he is. He's two-faced. He wants one, he says, yeah, you don't know, we're supporting rebels. And then he says again, well, we do have 75% of our warplanes come back and didn't even shoot a bullet. Not even one.
And meanwhile, Russia just takes out targets left and right.
Left and right.
So it's a big show war for the Obama administration.
Right. So
they're going out with armed up. They do their sorties. And 75% of the time, an armed airship of some sort comes back, hadn't fired a single shot.
Right. And Putin has been claiming for a long time now that this is a lie. The airstrike against ISIS by Obama administration is an absolute lie.
We're living in a really weird time where I have to reluctantly agree with everything Putin's saying. And if I hear Obama talk, I can start off by saying, well, first of all, we know he's 99.99999% chance that if I call him a liar right now, I'm going to be correct.
Liar.
And then when we do the research, we find out, yeah, we were right. He was lying.
Right.
What kind of a world do we live in where we know, yeah, Obama's talking, he said this, and this. Okay, well, we know that that's not true now because he said it.
Right.
And hey, I just listened to Putin, and yeah, he's telling the truth because that makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense. Even if we can't verify that it's true, it sure sounds like the truth.
Right. Well, I mean, when you put all the pieces together, it's a hard horse pill to swallow, if you will.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just one big. Have you ever seen those horse pills that are just really big and long?
Just have a lot of girth.
Try to jam that down your throat.
No,
I
wouldn't see
no,
that.
I wouldn't do it either. So Rush Limbaugh was hanging out with old Chris Wallace.
Okay.
And they were talking and chit-chatting, and Chris was asking him about what do you think Obama's strategy is with ISIS? And this is what Rush had to say.
I don't think he's got a strategy that deals with ISIS. I think Obama's strategy, best I've been able to learn, and I've looked really hard at this, it seems to me that Obama's linked to Iran and Syria in this. The sectarian violence throughout the Middle East is his excuse for not doing anything about it. Iran capitalizes on all of this chaos and crisis. And Chris, I mean, I don't like saying any of this, but it's obvious that Obama is very sensitive to Iran's needs and is trying to satisfy them. We've lifted the sanctions. They've got $150 billion they didn't have. They're on the way to get a nuclear weapon, all because of Barack Hussein. And I think his dealing with ISIS is inept and incompetent and non-existent.
Here.
Right.
I mean, dittos. They don't call it. If you've ever listened to Rush and you hear everybody's, the callers, they call in and say mega dittos, and the camera's called the ditto cam and all that kind of stuff. If you ever wonder what the heck they're talking about,
ditto. It's
when he says stuff and the only thing you can say in response to what he says is ditto.
Right.
That's where that comes from.
So this,
I got into it. Some guy accused me of being some Rush Limbaugh wannabe on Twitter.
Well, if you're out there listening, why don't you call in right now, 772-49-SMITH. The lines are hot and ready. We'll save one line open for you.
772-49-SMYTH.
Get to dialing.
If you have a rotary phone.
Get to TTY.
Good luck with you. Good luck with you. No, but he accused me of being, and I said, look, Rush is a genius, and if you don't see that or you disagree with that, what does that say about you?
Right.
I mean, he is a genius, and you're going to sit there and try to make fun of somebody by saying that they want to be him? What does that say about you? Like, you're a scientist? Look at this guy. He's an Einstein wannabe.
Isn't that how you start out? I want to be a race car driver, look at this one. He's a Danica Kirkpatrick wannabe. Look,
well, that might have been a bad example.
Pink shoes and pink.
That might be bad. Maybe like a Mario Andretti wannabe or something like that. Or
what's wrong with wanting to be like Danica?
Danica?
What's wrong with wanting to be like her?
Because she's not a great driver.
Oh, but she is a driver.
She's a genius.
Well, okay, you're right. So check this out. They did. This has been blowing up the news, and people are the media and everybody. Because what Limbaugh does is he does these parodies. These song and dance, these song parodies.
I may have heard this. I heard some good ones this week. Better than normal.
Yeah, and so this is what they're all inflamed over.
Oh, boy. Let's see if I heard this one. I did hear this one. This is hilarious. Oh, this is so good.
Jesus, just all right. Nothing religious here, folks. It's a safe song.
Just all right with me.
It's supposed to be Obama singing.
ISIS has been contained, oh yeah. ISIS is just all right with me. ISIS the JV team.
JV team.
I don't care what they did today. I don't care what they're gonna do. I don't care what they did today. ISIS is just alright. Oh yeah.
So,
And then he goes into the.
I said it's been contained. Yes, it has. And the Iranians, they are my friends.
Wow. They went all out in the song.
I made a deal and shook their hand. Promised I'd sit on my brains. I said
They went all out with the song.
it's been contained.
they're contained. We talked about this last week.
The JBC.
Yeah.
The EIP network.
Yeah, so there's
El Rushmore.
the tagline. That's who it's from.
All right with me. ISIS has been contained. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
You get the idea.
right, so this
When I heard that, I was like, oh, I was so impressed because they did a good job on that.
Oh yeah, it's called Barack Hussein O and the Funky Bunch or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And the Funky Bunch.
So this week there was the G20 summit. I don't know what these summits are all about. This is insanity.
I know. It's just it's a place for protesters to go find and harass.
So Obama was at the G20 summit,
Well, that gives it legitimacy. So
and they discussed on what the reason, because they have to find a reason why somebody does something bad.
well, you can't let a crisis go to waste.
Right. So they're trying to figure out why ISIS or ISIL or ISIL or ICE or is does what they do. And they've come to a conclusion, an answer. They know what they're doing and they know why they're doing it. Carrie, do you know why they're doing it?
Why?
It's because of global warming.
Oh, I knew it. Oh, it was on the top of my head. I couldn't.
They
figure it
said, okay, this is gonna blow your mind. 1941 claim increasingly warmer temperatures throughout the world may produce a trend towards dictatorial governments.
out. Why?
1941.
Oh,
That's just what it said.
41.
1941, the rise to power of Adolf Hitler in Germany and Benito Mussolini in Italy may be due in part to gradually warmer temperatures of the world.
You
The
lost me.
1840
You lost me.
Hold on. They're claiming global warming caused Hitler and Mussolini to do what they did.
How?
Okay. Because during warmer temperatures, people are more docile, easily led in warm climates than cold.
Citation needed because they're
Real-
just saying that.
Hold on.
Why? Because I said it.
Steve Goddard's realclimatescience.com. Just said it. So London, Prince Charles comes out. He's pointed to the world's failure to tackle climate change as a root cause of the civil war in Syria, terrorism, and the the refugee crisis engulfing Europe. He was going to go to an interview, and the interview was recorded before the November 13th attacks in Paris. But he was claiming that such attacks are it's a classic case of not dealing with the problem. And he says, some of us were saying 20-something years ago that if we didn't tackle these issues, you were going to see greater conflict over scarce resources and ever greater difficulties over drought and the effect of climate change, which means that people have to move. That was from Reuters. That's Prince Charles.
So they have to move, and then what?
Well, that's a civil war.
Because they have to move.
Right.
I'm just not following this. They're just first of all, you make up out of thin air that warmer temperatures cause people to be more susceptible to be led by others?
Correct. And last week...
Well, then, what is that? How does it explain? Are you saying that there's more leadership potential now than there was in the past? Is there any data that supports that? And also, if there was a Hitler, if global warming was really happening, if there was a Hitler in the 30s, then where are all the Hitlers lately? Or is that what Obama is? Is that what we're saying Obama is?
Whoa. See, now I didn't go all there with it.
Did he just call Obama Hitler?
Yeah, I think he did.
And he blames global warming on it?
Right.
How does he explain my lack of following what Obama is trying? Oh, because he's leading from behind.
Right. Well, I don't know. Oh, man. I can't find it. Okay, a week or so ago, we were talking about Bill Maher.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill Maher came out and said, global warming, cause of terrorism? Yes, absolutely.
Because it's 159 degrees.
And they don't have anything. They got he said they live in the desert and they got nothing to do.
They do not have anything to do.
That's what he said. So
you know why they have nothing to do? Because we keep dropping them food.
Oh, so
we
they'll
need to
stay
make them work for their food.
Okay. So King Carl the 16th is now a staunch environmentalist. Said he realized how much water and energy they used when he was recently staying somewhere without a shower. The 69-year-old king told Swedish newspaper, "It hit me how much water and energy it used. I thought, I can't believe I'm having to do this. I felt quite ashamed of myself." And then the newspaper writes, apparently in jest, he added, "We should ban all baths." No, newspaper, no, that wasn't in jest. No, he really meant that. The Swedish head of state says he now drives an eco-friendly hybrid car, turning around his lifelong reputation as a petrol head.
So he went from petrol to coal, because that's what it is.
Right.
Unless you have a nuclear power plant, in which case your electric car is nuclear.
When I drive into town, it's on electricity.
Where did that electricity come from?
Electricity.
And by the way, what kind of environmental impact do those batteries cause? The acid and lead.
Oh, they're saying they're
nickel,
saying
cadmium,
they're
and
saying
lithium.
the amount of toxic waste that is left over from these batteries.
Disposal of batteries?
Insane.
It makes the pollution from coal and nuclear waste look like nothing.
Right. So here's my point. We got problems, and we got a problem maker at the helm of it all. And now the G20 summit, during a press conference on the Islamic State, President Obama recalls, you got to see the picture.
Oh, Barack Obama and Michelle are in a fake kiss, the kind of kiss that you would see two strangers in Paris doing.
Dude, it's insane.
The cheek kiss, the double cheek kiss.
Right. So,
That's
at the
so
G20
fake.
summit, he recalls
They're
in a press conference with the French president, he recalls a moment he shared with the First Lady. Quote, by my bed in the residence is a picture of me and Michelle in Luxembourg Gardens, kissing.
I don't call that kissing.
Those are the memories we have of Paris. As early on as I had no gray hair. We love French. Sometimes we Americans are too shy to say so, but we're not feeling shy today.
You sound like Keanu Reeves.
we love France for your spirit, your culture, and your joie de vivre.
Huh?
I don't know.
He tried to speak French.
He did. He spoke French. Obama admitted that ISIS was a serious threat to the world.
Good one. I like that.
This barbaric terrorist group, ISIL, or Daesh.
Daesh.
D-A-E-S-H.
Okay.
He's throwing out new names now.
All right. We got to just call it something different now.
And its murderous ideology pose a serious threat to all of us. It cannot be tolerated. We must destroy it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But he's not going after them, though.
talking about a kiss heard round the world. I don't. The kiss, the kid. What in a?
It's his wife. He's kissing his wife like a stranger.
Paris Climate Summit will be, according to Obama, powerful rebuke to all terrorists.
Oh my God! Oh, that's not even. Oh, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna take power from freedom-loving individual capitalists. We're gonna take all that power. We're gonna centralize it into an elite class of people in government, bureaucrats, if you will, and that's gonna send a strong message to the terrorists in the Middle East.
Right.
That's literally what he's just said.
You don't know, Carrie. You don't know. You don't know.
Apparently,
man.
don't know.
So if you will, and this is kind of interesting. He was at the summit and he had a couple of things to say, and which were quite bizarre in his bizarro world. This was one.
The terrible events in
Oop,
Paris.
can't hear
Hold on. Let me start that over. Technical difficulties.
Need some volume.
Okay.
The terrible events in Paris were obviously a terrible and sickening setback. When I hear political leaders suggesting that there would be a religious test, that's shameful. That's not American. But
Russia.
what I'm not interested in doing is posing or pursuing some notion of American leadership or America winning or whatever other slogans they come up with.
He hates America. He hates America.
That has no relationship to what is actually going to work to protect the American people.
So American
and
success will not
protect
work to be successful.
People in the region who are getting killed and to protect our allies and people like France.
That's a very telling statement about what he thinks about the use of American power for peace in the world. He thinks that like the exercising of our power for the good of humankind is a double-edged sword because it's like the Duke versus North Carolina rivalry. Like if Duke had a way to make a party that was good for both sides, they wouldn't do it because then it would look like a Duke party, and that would be bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I just use the Duke North Carolina thing because there are very polarizing, and he looks at America and patriotism to be a polarizing thing in the world.
Wow. Well, you want to hear what Rush had to say about him at the G20 summit?
Sure, go ahead.
In that press conference from those sound bites you just played, he
Thank you,
also
Rush.
said that he doesn't believe in all this sloganeering like providing leadership and winning. You know, that's not. The first time I heard him say that was in reference to Afghanistan in 2009. He said, yeah, when I hear victory, talk of victory, I think of poor Hirohito being dragged to the battleship Missouri to sign surrender papers. He's not serious, Chris. I mean, there are legitimate questions about what and who he thinks pose threats to this country and who our real enemies are. And I'm sorry, the American people is looking at latest polling data. He's got his worst marks ever on dealing with terrorism. People are scared. We've got these refugees coming in, and nobody's confident that we can vet them. And yet we're told, don't be a bigot. Don't be a racist. Don't be a xenophobe. We're none of those things, and nobody who's worried about this is. They love America. They're concerned about our security. They don't think this administration is, or at least they're not seeing any signs of it.
Right. So he's talking about these. Now he's going off on these Syrian refugees that we've all been talking about. And this is what this Obama goes to the world to tell the world talk to them about America and Syrian refugees, who these refugees are. And it's...
Though is that now that we've got some time to catch our breath and take a look at this carefully, people understand that refugees who end up in the United States are the most vetted, scrutinized,
Can't happen. It will not
thoroughly
happen.
investigated
thoroughly
individuals that ever arrive
Just
on
because
American
you say it doesn't mean it's real or true.
Okay, so I was digging into that. I was like, wow, that's it. That's borderline insanity, but that's
Of course.
okay, whatever.
It's just lie. That's all it is. You're just lying.
Well, this was a video that I had saved from a while, and I went back to it. Jeff Sessions, who is a phenomenal politician, is questioning one of Obama's people about these refugees and vetting them.
Okay.
And this is how it went down. And listen really closely.
In Syria is that we don't have systems in.
What happened to that?
FBI Assistant Director of the FBI, Michael Steinbach, expressed significant concerns with screening Syrian refugees. I don't see how this can be denied. I don't see how you can gloss over this. He says, quote, "The concern in Syria is that we don't have systems in places on the ground to collect information to vet."
Yeah,
Think about it.
That would be the concern is we would be vetting databases that don't hold information on those individuals.
Exactly.
And that is the concern. He went on to say, you're
This is
talking
the
about
FBI.
a country that is a failed state. That is, does not have any infrastructure, so to speak. So all of the data sets, the police, the intel services that normally you would go to seek information.
They don't even exist.
Don't exist. Now, Mr. Emmerich, you query these systems. Is that your responsibility? Just yes or no? Do you supervise them making the inquiries?
I do.
And if there's no database to query, then how can you have valid information?
There is data that we check against, and we'd be happy to describe this to you in a different setting.
Liar!
Well,
you
liar!
liar!
Just tell us under oath. You're a public official.
Okay, he said, I'll talk to you in a different setting. He said, no, dude.
A setting where I don't have to put my hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth.
Right. You're under oath, my friend. We're in that setting.
Do you think there's adequate data when you query these databases? Are you likely to have any valuable information from them?
I will tell you that we often find valuable information and that we check every single thing that is available.
I'm sure you check
Exactly.
everything that's available.
I believe him.
But Mr. Steinbach, I think, is making the plain fact that there are no real databases in Syria to check. Isn't that right?
We we check everything that we are aware of.
Which is nothing.
Within U.S. government holdings, we are either inquiring about, looking into, or we currently check.
He's pretty much saying, don't you make no never mind what we end up actually checking, but make no mistake, everything that we can check, we're checking. Which is nothing. We're checking nothing because there's nothing to check, but it's everything. Do you people who are listening right now understand that you can check everything and nothing at the same time?
Right.
Because there could be nothing, and you could say we're checking everything that's available,
Which is nothing.
right? So we're checking.
We're checking
nothing.
it all.
And that's literally what he said. He said, "Don't you worry, we're checking everything."
And we've got inquiries out there, and we're waiting for answers. We got inquiries.
What a lying, manipulative
that
sack
thing
of crap.
Dude, that thing went on forever. Dude, that went on for like 10 minutes.
So
no, 5 minutes.
Did you know that this week Ben Carson went to Syria?
I heard about it.
Well, Ben Carson said the Syrian refugees he met during his trip to the Middle East don't want to come to the United States. They want to go home. Quote, I had an opportunity to talk with many of the Syrian refugees and asked them, "What is your supreme desire?" And it was pretty uniform. They want to go back home, Carson said on ABC's This Week Sunday. I was a little bit surprised with the answer because it wasn't what we've been hearing. We're hearing that all they want to do is come here to the United States and terrorize. No, I'm just kidding. And that's not what they want. They want to go back home, unquote. The Republican presidential candidate was speaking from Amman, Jordan, where he visited 2 refugee camps in an effort to better understand the crisis while attempting to beef up a foreign policy resume his own advisors recently described as weak. His own advisors?
Wow.
Come on, I don't know if I buy that. Quote, their true desire is to be resettled in Syria, Carson said on CNN's State of the Union. Quote, but you know, they are satisfied to be in the refugee camps if the refugee camps are adequately funded. Recognize that in these camps they have schools. They have recreational facilities that are really quite nice, and they are putting in all kinds of things that make life more tolerable. There's so many people who think that the ideal for everyone is to come to America, where they will be showered with Social Security benefits. Okay, quote, but that is not the ideal for everybody. Some people just want to be oppressed with Sharia law.
Wow.
I threw that in there. And we need to be looking at mechanisms that already exist. I don't even know what that.
Well, we've got laws on the books. We just need to enforce them.
All right. Carson said he supports the refugee program that is currently in place in the Middle East, saying that the United States and its allies must do more to help fund those refugee situations.
No. Did we just not do a report an hour ago? Did $770 million, almost $1 billion to give mosques around the world facelifts? Keep my money here in America.
Okay, so Carson's out.
Shut down the borders and keep my money to myself.
So it sounds to me, this is our Smith Radio, and my personally.
I'm frustrated now.
No, it sounds to me like when Ben Carson goes to a place. This is what happened to Rubio. Rubio went to the Gang of 8, the woodshed.
Oh, and they sold him.
They beat him down. He comes out a changed man. Carson goes to the Syrian refugee camps, comes out changed man. BS, you're out. You do not have the intestinal fortitude or the convictions of your principles to be able to stand firm. You got to have this rock solid foundation, a brick and mortar belief system that you can go and tap from.
Right.
And so far, we know that Marco Rubio has failed that.
Right.
We know that Rand Paul failed miserably. And now it looks like Ben Carson failed.
It's disappointing to see. I mean, obviously, if he's the nominee, the Republican nominee, I'm voting for him. Because that's just what we do.
Yeah, I mean, if he
you
ends
vote,
up being
you've got to vote for the Republican.
Well, you have to vote against communism.
Correct.
You have to stop communism.
So, but all in all, we're not quite there yet. Wait till we get there. All of a sudden now, I've got a problem with Ben Carson going to the Middle East, saying that we should fund the unfundable. It is you cannot fund a program that cannot vet people.
Not
in
only
a system that has no information on these people are born and don't have numbers, certificates, there's no paperwork, there's no trail, there's no.
They were just born in a desert.
Nothing
under Sharia law.
How many people you killed? Well, none on the books.
Oh, you don't know how many then zero.
What?
Zero.
Where are the books at? What books?
Oh, zero. Zero.
I've killed as many people as they say I've killed.
There you go. and you can check everywhere. Everywhere.
You could vet me all day with all kinds of inquiries. You can inquire me You can queer me all day long.
I will be your query.
All day long.
Oh, query eye for the straight guy.
Whoa. new show coming up fall, CBS.
I got more from Carson.
Oh.
Quote, "It seems like everybody in the international community is spending more time saying, how can we bring refugees here, rather than how can we support a facility that is already in place that the refugees are finding perfectly fine when it's adequately funded? Why are you trying to take my money?"
I don't know. I want my money back.
Carson said that on CBS's Face the Nation. Quote, "If you do that, you solve that problem without exposing the American people to a population that could be infiltrated with terrorists who want to destroy us, a.k.a. Trojan horse."
Right.
Quote, "If you can eliminate the possibility of terrorists infiltrating them and wanting to destroy us, you have a different argument. But you don't see that being eliminated." So he's trying to strike the middle ground. He's like, you know what, I'm not going to let them attack me on this refugee thing. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, they're fine in these refugee camps, but we need to dump money in it. So that way, I'll get more of the independence.
Oh, he'll appease them. Oh, I don't like that.
Nope.
I don't like
Carson
that.
was asked if he thought there were terrorists among those refugees he talked to. Quote, "I don't know whether they were or not," he replied, "but I do know that the ISIS terrorists have said that if we bring refugees, that they would infiltrate them. And why wouldn't they?" Hey, I got
to take it for their word.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying something that's responsible. However, for him to say that we should support them over there,
I got a good one for you,
can't
Brian.
take it.
Earlier this month, Carson was criticized for comparing Syrian refugees to rabid dogs. Quote, if there's a rabid dog running around in your neighborhood, you're probably not going to assume something good about that dog, and that you're probably going to put your children out of the way. Going to put your children out of the way.
You sit up on the porch with my shotgun.
Carson said, "Doesn't that mean you hate? Doesn't mean that you hate all dogs by any stretch of the imagination."
I love puppies.
I love puppies. That's not rabid puppies.
No. If he's got foam coming out of his mouth, it could be one of two things. But the main line is that I'm not going near it.
On Sunday, the retired neurosurgeon stood by those comments. Quote, "The Syrians and the people here completely understood what I was saying," Carson said on NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday.
Meet the Depressed.
"It's only the news media in our country that thinks that you're calling Syrians dogs. They understand here that we are talking about the jihadists. We're calling jihadists rabid dogs, the Islamic terrorists, and it's very obvious to most of them. The perception is quite warm, but maybe they can teach us a little bit about how to interpret language." Is that like a passive-aggressive attack on the media?
Wow.
I don't know, man. I'm a little disappointed.
I'm really
underwhelmed.
disappointed.
I'm underwhelmed.
I've got Rush's take on what he thinks how to destroy or get rid of ISIS.
Did you say Russia or Rush?
Rush
Limbaugh.
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh.
Okay.
His take on when he was talking with Fox News. Lost his name. Anyways, when he was talking to me, this is what he said.
Well, in the first place, I would get some people around me and listen to them. I would get some people around me who are experts in dealing with groups like this. For one thing, I would do, Chris, I would hit their oil. I'd hit their oil depots. I would hit their oil tankers. We're not. Do you know why we're not? Because we have rules of engagement. The administration says, well, some of the drivers might be civilians, and we can't go there.
They're not civilians if they're in a military target.
The actual oil depots, and oil wells that they've taken over. That's their primary source of revenue. I would hit that, and I wouldn't care. Chris, the world is governed by the aggressive use of force. And the purpose of war and the purpose of militaries is to kill people and break things. That's how you win. And you keep doing that till the other side says, I'm sorry, and surrenders. Barack Obama's number one enemy is the Republican Party. and the conservative movement. You see, he gets animated. He doesn't need cue cards. He doesn't need teleprompter when he starts ripping into them. But when you get ISIS on the board or anything in the Middle East, very cautious, very precise, very don't want to offend them, don't want to make them mad.
Well, let me pick up on that.
I think it's very dangerous. Chris, I think it's really dangerous. I think the country's in more danger than people know.
With Chris Wallace, Sunday with Chris Wallace.
Today? Or was that last week? I was just curious.
Sunday. No. Sunday with Chris Wallace.
Whichever Sunday you're listening to this, that's when it happened.
Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Sunday with Chris Wallace.
All right.
So, but no, he's right, though. I mean, we know what is real, what's going on right now. There is a lot of dangerous stuff going on out there in the world. I mean, gun sales and ammunition purchases are through the roof. Every year for the last 6 years, they've broken records from the year before, and we're now at an all-time 6-year high for gun purchases and concealed carried weapon permits through the roof. I mean, people are arming themselves for a reason. I mean, whether it be Obama scaring the living bejesus out of all of us by saying, yeah, we got them all vetted. They're vetted.
Don't you worry about it. We checked everything.
They're the most vetted people ever.
Oh, that's a lie.
Ever. Well,
See,
I said it.
Statement.
I said
it. Oh,
it. because
you said it. Okay.
Right.
I got
said
you.
It.
You said it. You forget it.
Right. Said it and forget it. Ron Popel. Nice.
Nice.
The turkey man. Oh, yeah. So it blows my mind that this guy can still be president, that nobody's opposing him.
He needed to be impeached a long time ago.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
So, well, refugees.
Back to refugees?
Yeah, well, I got one more soundbite on Rush talking about refugees and what he thinks about the refugees.
Let's hear it.
Well, you know what? I'd pause it. I would put a pause on it right now, and I would, again, I don't profess to be an expert in everything. I'm an expert in a lot of things, Chris, but not everything. And in this case, I'd get some people who can tell me how best to do this. We paused refugees being allowed to enter the country in 2011. You know who did it? Barack Hussein O. There was a 6-month pause on Iraqi refugees for the very same reason people are worried about the Syrian refugees today. Look, I have friends who are Syrians. I play golf with them. They're great people. This is not about that. It's not about bigotry or racism or anti-ethnics or against certain nationalities. It's about the defense and protection of the United States of America and our Constitution, which is what is the primary job of the President of the United States. And again, he just doesn't seem to be oriented in that direction or interested in it. It's almost as though he thinks that we've committed all these crimes since our founding. We're unjust and immoral, and it's time for payback. It's time for us to find out what the rest of the world goes through every day. It's time for us to bite the bullet. I think it's really troubling. I'm having to bite my lip here, what I really think. I think it's
what do you really think?
Really devastating. I think we are a great nation at risk in a dangerous world, and the people leading the country today don't see that. They see us as the problem, not the solution. They think that we are responsible for some of these problems. They fall back and blame George W. Bush for what's going on. ISIS didn't exist when Bush left office.
Amen. I mean, that's that bottom line. That's it.
That sums it up right there.
ISIS did not exist when Bush left office. Not only that,
says a lot,
but military boots on the ground and a fairly, compared to now, secured Iraq.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It just was.
Yeah, definitely.
Pull them all out. Pull all the troops out, and what you get? You get what you get now. And speaking of that, Obama was talking earlier how him and Iran are down with each other and they're working together on this. Well, apparently some breaking news from yesterday. Apparently, Putin says that him, Iran, and Assad, they're all going to oppose anyone who wants to dethrone Assad.
Huh. Okay.
So Iran is claiming to stand.
I'm not sure what I think about Assad. He looks like a clean-cut guy, always wearing his three-piece suit, his tie, and everything like that. He looks like a typical westernized type president person. The claim is that he used gas on his own people.
Right.
But, you got those conspiracy theorists that say that Saddam Hussein didn't gas his people because it was American gas. So either A, Saddam used American-made gas at with America's blessing, or that America gassed his people and just used it to to say, "Oh, look what you did! He did it! He did it!"
Right.
And so did Assad? Did that happen to Assad also? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but the thing is now, is this whole Iran deal that Obama made a deal with Iran and shook his hand, Iran. Well, right now, Iran says they're down with Russia and Syria.
If I was a westernized, secular type of president of a Middle Eastern country, I would be jumping on Putin's bandwagon because he seems like he's going to be killing the people in their country who would oppose him. Those people don't want those secularized, westernized-looking leaders in their country. They want to kill them so that they can get the caliphate underway.
Right.
So,
well, even Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's
gay lover.
Okay, you said it. Yeah.
I mean, we just report the facts here.
Spade is a spade. She has Muslim Brotherhood ties as well, and she's been quoted by the freedomoutpost.com that I want Muslim refugees to flood America.
Why?
Well, because then they'd be able to control the population.
Well, they'll be able to control them. Plus, they'll have a popular move to remove the Constitution and abolish it.
Right. Well,
because in order to do things politically, especially in America, you need popular support. Laws be damned. You can throw all that, the actual process that you are supposed to legally go through in America, you could throw all that aside, and Obama has proven that with executive orders, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, simply by doing things that a majority of the people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Right. Once you have that popular support, all you have to do is declare it. Well, we're going back to the way things were in medieval England.
She's got ties to the Brotherhood, to the Muslims. So all the Muslims in power, the ones who you're either extremely rich or you're dirt poor, and if you're extremely rich, you run the country.
Okay.
So that's not so in America. However, if they overrun America with these refugees and Syrian refugees and Muslims, then they can get closer and closer to that separation and removal of the middle class.
And the middle class is dangerous because they, as a group, really do have a lot of power.
Right.
Whereas poor people, the poorest of the poor, are very manipulative because you can tell them this is what we're going to give to you.
Right.
They have nothing. And they know, because that they've been propagandized, that the only thing they can ever have is whatever the government agrees to give them.
Right.
So all Huma has to do is say, support us and this is what we'll do for you. The rich are very easily manipulated because their wealth is only determined by whether or not the government will allow them to keep it, because it'll always be popular to take the wealth from the rich.
Right.
It'll always be very easy for Huma to say, hey, poor people, look how rich this guy is. Support me while I take all their wealth.
Right, and I'll give it to you.
And the pitchforks and the torches will come out, and the rich people have no choice but to say, all right, here, take it.
Just don't hurt me.
Right. And then Huma could say, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll do a bait and switch. We'll let you keep your wealth, but you got to do this for me. And then boom, they got
Done.
Boom has all the power.
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
how that works.
Absolutely.
Just FYI.
I don't know if this is one of those nitpicky things, but Obama was at the White House during a press conference with the French president again, and he was talking about the refugees, and he misquotes the inscription on the Statue of Liberty.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to be free.
Okay.
However, it really reads, masses yearning to breathe free, not be free.
Masses yearning to breathe free.
Not be free.
But if you're in shackles in a dungeon, aren't you able to breathe free? Unless you have like a weight on your chest.
Whoever wrote, was it the French that wrote that?
Uh-huh.
Well, they wrote to breathe free on the Statue of Liberty.
Seems kind of odd.
Yeah. All right, maybe I was being a little
Unless
too
you're
nitpicky.
being killed currently. You are probably
if you're being hung.
Or if you're being put on a rack.
Right.
Or if you're in an Iron Maiden. We need that soundbite. Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Bill and Ted.
We love Keanu Reeves here.
Wow. Because he is
Ted Theodore Logan.
he is the end all be all. I've got a clip from Greg Gutfeld, who we both love.
Oh, he's the greatest.
He's talking about Obama and saying that the White House mascot should be an ostrich.
Interesting.
Is that loud enough?
Probably, yeah.
After the Paris attacks, President Obama pleads with the media to offer some perspective.
The media needs to help in this. I mean, I just want to say, during the course of this week, a very difficult week, it is understandable that this has been a primary focus. But one of the things that has to happen is how we report on this has to maintain perspective and.
So he's telling them how to report on it.
Not,
of course. He's the last word in the propaganda arc.
These terrorist organizations.
Don't empower
or elevate them in ways that make it easier for them to recruit or make them stronger.
Worried about them elevating?
They're a bunch of killers with good social media.
What?
That's our O. His first reaction is always about overreaction. I think he overreacts about overreaction, and it's his underreaction about action that's the infraction. I await a retraction. He's right, though. It's been a tough week. But it's strange how he never asks the media for perspective when emotional responses help him out, be it climate change, guns, or even his own popularity. When the press fell head over heels over him, he never said, "A little perspective, guys. I'm not all that." Nope. When it's his crusade, you better lick that boot.
Whoa!
But maybe he's worried that terror steals the spotlight from climate change, which, as you know, causes all terror. True, high temperatures create jihadists. Just look at the ISIS franchises popping up all over drought-ridden California. Oh, wait. But we're used to our concern being smeared as fear-mongering. O's disdain for our priorities feels lifted from West Wing scripts, where such mockery passes for thoughtfulness. And it blocks any path to unity. The White House mascot should be the ostrich, head in the sand, and all we see is ass.
Oh.
Whatever. Time to prepare for evil. You aren't living in fear, but learning to be feared. The Islamists are mindless droids programmed by ideology and numbed by phenethylene. It's not a them anymore, it's just an it. And there is no Islamophobia when you're extinguishing a wildfire. So when the president says, "This is not who we are," remind him that it goes both ways. We may not be who you are either.
That's right.
Good for us.
Wow.
Amen.
Wow. So, I mean, the ostrich it is.
All right.
I designate the ostrich as maybe Obama's mascot.
Right. Definitely.
Definitely not ours. So, apparently, Obama's ISIS or ISIL strategy enjoys a 90% approval rating among members of ISIS. ISIS?
No, that can't be right.
Obama's ISIS strategy Obama's ISIS strategy enjoys a 90% approval rating among members of ISIS.
Oh, come on. Who's he trying to get?
That's by the Patriot Update.
Oh, that's almost unbelievable. That's almost unbelievable.
Was it? You think somebody trolled me on that one? You think they trolled me?
It just
is it not hysterical?
So if that's true, he must know it.
Yes,
and if he knows it,
because he polls everybody.
His strategy,
he lives by the poll.
His strategy must be that if I can get ISIS to like me,
right,
then that will make it less likely that they'll attack America,
right,
because it's my country,
right.
And so I'm keeping America safe by getting them to approve of my policies.
Right.
What? This is so ridiculous.
So terrorism deaths quadruple under Obama. The worldwide number of annual terrorist deaths has more than quadrupled since Obama was president back in inaugural in January 2009. Deaths from terrorism increased 80% last year to an all-time high record of 32,658 people killed, compared to 18,000 in 2013. The number is up 426% from the 7,000 killed in 2008 under Bush, according to the latest reports from Vision of Humanity, the Breitbart story. So he's breeding terrorism.
Well, isn't that, we know that, he's part of it, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's just expanding his empire.
Isn't he? Isn't he?
Oh,
wow, that's amazing.
Think of it this way. We know, because of his ambition and just what he does and what he likes to do and what he's into, that if he can't continue to be the president of the United States or the dictator of the United States, or the premier, by abolishing the presidency the way Hitler did, if he can't do that, when he gets out of office, he's going to continue the steps to gain power by becoming the president of the world.
Okay.
And I know, I could tell by the steps he's been taking for the past 8 years or 7 years, that he's going to start in the Middle East.
Right.
He'll become the president of the caliphate.
Right.
And from there, because of the power that he built up in the Middle East among the caliphate, that he will then have the power to expand from there. He'll probably take over Russia and move.
Obama?
Yeah. As the president of the caliphate. That's why
How do you take over Russia?
He's giving nukes to Iran.
Yeah, they're going to have.
He gave all the Humvees.
Yeah,
Every Humvee we had is in the Middle East now.
But Iran says they're down with. Oh, is Iran a Trojan horse coming in the back door of Russia?
Well, now there's going to be a little bit of a concern for Obama that he'll lose that part of the region to Russia. So now there's a battle between him and Putin as to make sure that Iran is part of the caliphate that he's going to take over once he gets out of office.
Okay.
So he takes over the caliphate,
right?
Right? He's got a nuclear Iran, which is part of his caliphate, so now he's nuclear. He has all of the American military that he sent over there to allow ISIS to take over.
Right.
So he has American military support equipment. And then he just goes from there.
Wow.
It makes sense, right?
No, it's possible. It's possible. However,
might be in a conspiracy theorist.
This thing with Iran, though, I'm just the big one. But this thing with Iran has got me troubled. Apparently, they released a video. The video was titled "Who Was Behind the Paris Attacks?" This is from.
Oh, are we going? Do I have to get the tinfoil hat back on?
This is from Tel Aviv. Well, this video was released by the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei.
Okay.
It alleges that the United States and its allies were the real perpetrators behind the jihadist massacre on Paris that killed 132 people.
How? Like, what do you mean?
They said Americans did it. It was behind.
Oh, that's not even. Why would you even go there?
Somebody said that one of the people in France said that they overheard the terrorists while they were killing. They overheard them talking to each other in English.
with a British accent or an American accent?
He said it sounded like a redneck Tea Party man.
Oh, it was definitely Tea Party.
It was Tea
It
Party.
was that guy that shot up the Planned Parenthood thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So Iran's coming out with crazy nonsense.
I'm confused because there's a little bit of a disconnect here. ISIS in general will say, hell yeah, we did that.
Right, at all costs.
So why is Ayatollah? Yeah, even when it didn't happen, they're like, hey, you know what? I bet we could claim that. The Turkish shoot down of the Russian plane.
That was us. That was us.
Oh, but we know it wasn't you. Oh, well, all right, well, we shot him out of the parachute.
Yeah, we
shot the parachute.
And that helicopter, yeah, we did.
Oh, we definitely
we
did that.
definitely did that, man.
Can we verify they didn't do that? Sir, we can't verify that they didn't do it.
We can't vet anything. There's no records.
There's no database to go off of. Oh, man. You've got to be kidding me.
Woo!
Yeah, so it's weird because the Ayatollah Khomeini, is that his name? Ayatollah?
I call him Khomeini. But it is with a K.
Oh, okay.
But
Ayatollah
it's
Khomeini.
K-H-A.
The KKK is silent.
Okay.
He is wearing a white robe, isn't he?
He is.
So anyway.
And he does not.
So he comes out and actually does something that the ISIS people, the leaders of ISIS, would not be cool with. They'd be like, dude, you got to claim that. And he's like, no. America did that.
Right. And
Maybe
he's like,
he's
no.
feeling
Ayatollah, listen, man.
Is he
Come
Mexican?
on, Holmes.
Mexican?
Come on, Holmes.
Come on, to say.
Don't be a liar.
Oh, he's lying. He's a liar.
Why are you a liar, man? You know we did it, homeboy.
So we know ISIS has definitely infiltrated Mexico, is what you're saying. For sure.
Well, we reported that. They had, 6 of them on the border.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, and as Smith Radio chumps the rail.
Sometimes we touch the third rail.
Whoa.
The third one right down the middle.
Yeah, right, correct.
The big one.
So,
the big rail.
So the pole that Obama lives
Which
by.
pole? Wait. Oh, he lives on that pole.
Pole. So all the data, all the information, all the polling information, he lives by that. Obama lives by the pole.
Sometimes he sits on them.
But it's possible. It's possible.
All right. I'm not going to argue that.
So while we're into wars of people warring and warring and war, what the H is going on with the GOP setting their war against Trump? They are in
let's talk about
full psychotic war mode, deathly afraid of Carson and Trump.
Well, if you're trying to win, then you got to get rid of Carson and Trump if you're the GOP.
Right.
Because I don't really understand it. I really don't. I'm having trouble. The only thing I can think of is what we've been saying here all along is absolutely true, which is that the purpose of the GOP as it is today is very, very similar to the Democrat Party, which is to amass power into a centralized GOP led government against individual freedom, against individuals who just want individual capitalism and freedom.
Right. Which
is almost identical to what the communists over in the Democrat Party are trying to do. And so they look at people like Trump and Carson, and there are some Tea Party people who say that Trump is a Democrat and that you can't trust him, and that one guy said something very interesting on Twitter, and I don't remember his name or anything like that, but he pointed out, when did Trump ever say that he wants to restore individual freedom and defend individual freedom and that kind of stuff? I know he's come out for veterans, and I have heard him say that he supports the Second Amendment and all that, but I want to hear more about small businesses and reduced regulation and stuff like that. I haven't heard any of that from him.
Right.
But that's kind of a side note. The point I'm trying to make is if the ones that are libertarians that support Trump believe that he is that way, that he is going to be for capitalism, for freedom, individual freedom, and that he's not going to be this oppressive establishment type that's just trying to take the power from everybody and put it in a centralized government. And we know that Carson, historically speaking, seems to be that way. the establishment needs to get rid of those people. I have trouble understanding it because I'm like, if it's just about winning the election and you got a guy named Trump or Carson,
just run with it,
who agrees, I will be the representative of the Republican Party running for the presidency. Why can't they rally around that? I don't understand. I mean,
they're deathly afraid that they don't hold the ideologies that they hold. They can't get them to be the
which
monkey.
Is what?
They'll pull the strings and he won't do it.
So they just want the power, and they want their president, let's say Jeb Bush. They just want Jeb Bush to go in as a placeholder that they will have control over.
And
so they're worried about the placeholder not being controllable.
And they
That's
have
so
this
sad.
and they have this cookie cut image of who that man would be. Identically who that man would be. And that man that they support, or woman, must be exactly what they want. And if they're not, they've got to be willing to be exactly what they want.
Okay, and let me get more specific because you just said that very generally. Is this what you're talking about? So they believe that in order to win elections, you have to get as many. Forget about the base. Forget about the right wingers. They're always gonna
correct.
Vote. We need to go after independents.
Right.
And and going after independents means catering to Mexicans because that's the humanitarian thing to do.
Right. Reading and living by the poll.
Okay, that too.
You've got to live by whatever the polls say.
So if we're nice,
do 'em.
if we're nice to Mexicans, the independents will say, "Oh, look, they're so nice.
Right?
They're nice to the poor Mexicans. We'll vote. And by the way, I'm saying that as an independent. Look, I'm an independent. I don't know. I may vote Democrat. I may vote Republican. But I heard that the Republicans were mean to Mexicans, so I don't know.
And the polls say, the majority of the poll that they look at says, independents don't like the arguing. They love the reach.
The reach around. They want the reach around.
Reach around over the aisle.
Oh, over the aisle.
Over the aisle to the other party and get with them. You got to get with the other party.
Compromise.
Although that other party will never get with you.
That is a very interesting point.
This is what the polls say. This is what the polls say.
They never care about the fact that the left never reach here's how the reaching works. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to just clear it up for you right now. On the right, what reaching across the aisle means is you reach across and you say, all right, we will compromise our principles to bend more to your principles. That's the right reaching across the aisle. The left reaching across the aisle means, hey, we want to reach across to the right and pull some of you guys over to believing in our ideology.
Right.
That's the reaching across the aisle. It's always the right reaching across to do more of the left stuff, and it's always the left reaching across to pull the right to the left. So in all cases, right gets pulled to the left.
Correct.
That's BS. And why can't anybody put a stop to that? That's ridiculous. I think it's all about this imagined compassion.
Oh, what about the children?
Yes, what about the children crowd? What's the acronym? The WATC. The WATC crowd.
Whack.
The whacked.
The whacked crowd.
Whacked. They're whacked.
They're whacked.
The whacked crowd. What about the children? The whacked crowd. That's going to be our new thing. Hashtag
whack.
Smith Radio owns that. Copyright smithradio.com.
Yeah.
WATC. What about the children?
Right.
That's going to be the hashtag on every tweet that applies to is the WATC hashtag.
Oh, hey, I know we were talking about Planned Parenthood earlier, but I just ran across this real quick. I'm skipping beats here, but I got to throw this out.
We're getting towards the end, so we're going to be doing like a lightning round at this point. Are we unofficially in
we can
the
be
lightning round?
Yeah,
right,
we
go
ahead. Statistics, leading causes of death among African Americans since 1973, which would be about 42 years.
Guns. Guns.
Bottom of the
inanimate objects.
Bottom of the poll, AIDS, 220,000. Second, violent crime, 320,000. Accidents, 400,000. Cancer, 1.3 million. Heart disease, 2.5 million. And the number one,
don't tell me, no,
14.5 million abortions.
Oh, come on.
Leading causes of death of African Americans.
That is amazing.
14.5 million.
The number one cause of death of African Americans is abortion.
Abortion.
That can't be real. Is that for real?
Well, we were talking about how many hundreds of thousands of
wow,
they murder every year. Oh, and that thing with Trump, that whole video thing, I'm not going to play it all, but that whole thing with CNN and Trump saying, hey, put Muslims in camps or training
databases.
Upload
all Muslims into a database.
CNN edited the video, edited the soundtrack to make it sound like it. False, liar. You'll never hear that from anybody, though.
That is amazing because even the ones that were defending Trump in that situation, like Hannity, went on and on about how, you know, he was talking about the wall, he wasn't talking about a database, about building that, blah, 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 blah. Turns out the whole thing was fake.
It's all a lie.
It was fake. It was as fake as, you remember the edited audio of the 911 call of George Zimmerman?
Oh!
When he said,
yes,
he looks black.
Yeah.
Turns out it was completely edited to make it sound like he just threw it out there out of nowhere, when in reality, the unedited audio, the 911 answerer, whatever you call that, dispatcher, said, what race, or what does he look like? What race could you identify his race? And he said, he looks black. That question was taken out to make it sound like he just called up and said, there's some black guy.
911? Yeah. He looks black.
Who looks black? He looks black. Like, you get, like, yeah, it was edited. It was fake. They made it up by using they went to the editing room and chopped it up and made a fake. They misled you with that. And now you're telling me that the Trump interview was edited and fake.
Correct.
Edited to make you think it was something it wasn't.
Right. Right.
I am totally not surprised. Bunch of liars.
They're liars. And they I can play it. It's less than a minute. It's only 50 seconds long. I'll play it real quick.
Okay.
Here's CNN talking about it, going to Trump, and then coming back. They go to the video. They're like, oh, we got this on Trump. Listen to this. Listen in. 3A.
The U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump, he is weighing in, suggesting that a database be used to keep track of Muslim immigrants in the United States. Listen.
Should there be a database system that tracks the Muslims here in this country?
There should be a lot of systems beyond database. I mean, we should have a lot of systems. And today you can do it.
But that's something your White House would like to implement.
Oh, I would certainly implement that. Absolutely.
Specifically, how do you actually get them registered into a database?
It would be just good management. What you have to do is good management procedures. And we can do that. It's nice.
I mean, do you go to mosques and sign these people up into the system?
Different places. You sign them up at different, but it's all about management.
Donald Trump there talking about management.
He sounded really distracted and being asked questions that he couldn't really devote attention to.
He also responded and was talking about the border.
He was specifically talking about the wall. Yeah, that's amazing though that it ends up being fake. And even though the words were said, I mean, you could get comical. You could get downright comical and make people say something completely opposite of what they meant simply by editing it.
Well, what about the songify? The fact that you songify something is hysterical.
It is totally hilarious.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen does have AIDS, folks. Full blown.
Right. So, back to Trump real quick.
Oh, yeah.
His big controversy this week.
Okay.
The big news this week with Trump, if I can get to it. Oh, hold on. I had it a second ago. I don't know. What's your lightning round item?
Chicago cop to be charged with mass murder, with murder for shooting that 15-year-old kid 17 times. Well, U.S. crime statistics in 2015, blacks killed by whites, 2%. Blacks killed by police, 1%. Whites killed by police, 3%. Whites killed by whites, 16%. Whites killed by blacks, 81%. Blacks killed by blacks, 97%.
Okay, so what's wrong with those percentages?
Black on black crime is 97%. Black on white crime is 81%. Everything else is below 16. Everything else is below 16%.
That's really ugly looking. That's ugly. Because I don't want to look at numbers like that and draw conclusions, but man, you have to fight it.
When they say
you
blacks
have to fight,
blacks killed by cops, 1%.
Blacks killed by cops,
1%. Whites killed by cops, 3%. It's
so
three
you're
times as much.
You're 3 times more likely to be killed by a cop
because
you're white,
right?
Than if you're black.
But
that is really, I don't even hardly believe that.
If you watch the news media, this is by Crime Statistics Bureau out of San Francisco. So if you watch the media, that's not what they say. Every black man is being killed by cops left and right. They're just looting the city and killing all blacks.
Gosh, I could.
And if they got a Confederate flag, they're killing blacks too.
I thought I saw something about those statistics that was wrong. Philip DeFranco came out with a video about that meme, and I didn't watch it, and I'm really sorry because I may have been able to report on what he said about it. But he's a big time lib, hardcore Obama, thrill up my leg lib. His videos are 9 minutes long.
Right.
So all of his videos are 9 minutes. So I wouldn't be able to isolate the thing for you guys to listen to it. But he has the meme up there, the same thing that you just quoted, and said there was something wrong with it. So I don't know. I'm sorry I didn't.
Well, Trump says that I'm not going to take back that statement to CNN.
Speaking of not taking back,
they're pressing him hard on that Muslim thing to take it back.
All right. So this is something that I'm sick and tired of. I've been following politics religiously since 2000, not lightly before 2000, but starting in 2000, I followed politics like people follow Survivor. And I am sick and tired of every single Republican candidate playing a song at a rally, and then the artist of that song comes out and says, I am appalled that you would steal my song and play it at your rally. We hate you. We hate you. We literally hate you. These are actual quotes from artists. Well, turns out Twisted Sister is going to allow Donald Trump to use We're Not Going to Take It.
Really?
Love it.
Well, how
I
about
am totally going to
this
support
one?
Twisted Sister now.
How about this one?
Did he come out and say don't use it?
Okay. The Survivor, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
They told old boy he can't use it no more.
Who's old boy? Which boy? Who? What?
Huckabee.
Oh, that's right.
Huckabee kept using it, refusing to stop using it, and they finally went and filed a lawsuit against him.
All right. Well, let me tell you how this works, people. Let me tell you how this works. This is a media / propaganda / liberal artist propaganda. It's a lie. Here's what they're trying to get you to believe. They're trying to get you to believe that these candidates would pick a song to play, right, and then that's it. And copyright wise, that's stealing. When you go to YouTube and you play a song in your video on YouTube, you're breaking the law because you're stealing copywritten material and putting it on your YouTube video without permission.
Right.
Let me tell you something. presidential candidates don't ever do that, and you can take that statement to the bank. It never happens. Every single time you see a Republican candidate use a song in their presidential campaign stop, wherever it might be, they got permission, and if it cost them money, they paid the money. What happens is the artists don't even own their own song. And when they hear that their song was being used, they come out publicly and say, whoa, we don't want them to use that song. We don't like them. Please stop using their song. That does not mean those candidates, they can actually continue to use that song if they want to.
Don't they have to pay for it?
Well, they'll
pay
for it.
They'll pay the company that owns the rights to that person's song.
Right. It's what happens.
I think Survivor's saying they own their own rights though still.
Well, Huckabee would have never used that if they didn't get permission.
Okay, you're right.
It would have never. Huckabee would not. It's illegal. It's against the law to use copywritten material in any kind of thing, whether it's a campaign, whether it's a money-making thing, whether it's a YouTube video that you're not even receiving royalties from. All of that is completely illegal. You have to get permission. Huckabee would have never used that song if he didn't get permission. And it may have been...
Disgusting slob! Are you listening to me? What do you want to do with your life?
What do you want to do with your life?
I want to rock.
That is so old school. I was a tiny little kid when
I showed my kids this. This is the long version.
Oh my goodness.
And my wife was watching. She's like, this is really scary.
Oh, whatever.
Because the stepdad was beating him?
Yeah, well, back then, when
you could get beat, but you were literally allowed to be beat.
It was
back
expected.
Then.
If there was a bad kid out in public and they weren't getting beat, people would look and frown at
Should
the
I beat him for you?
Because I will.
Yeah. I got no problem. So you're saying that every candidate out there
that plays a song at a campaign event,
so what
no way they didn't get permission.
Okay, so Sarah Palin got permission.
From Barracuda.
Right.
Hart.
Whoever
owned that song. Here's the thing.
However, Hart came out and... Weren't they upset about that?
Yes, and she had to stop using it.
Why?
Because here's what happens.
Pressure?
No. I'll give you an example. Let's say I want to use a Hart song. Let's say Hart owns that song.
Okay.
You do not call whatever the name of the what's her name from Hart, whatever her name is. I don't call her up at her home and say, excuse me, can I use your song? They don't do that. They have people that do that for them.
Okay.
Those people will then say, oh, yeah, this is how much it costs. And then Sarah Palin would say, okay, well, here's the money.
And then Hart finds out that
they find out afterwards. They, whoa!
Whoa. Well, she wasn't on the list to say no to. Well, she is now.
Right. Okay, so here's where the dishonesty comes from. Hart, if they were going to be honest, would say, yes, we do allow people to purchase the rights to our songs for events like this and stuff like that. However, had we known that we were going to be asked permission by Sarah Palin, we would have said no. But those that we hired to handle this stuff for us, they didn't know that.
The former company.
They didn't know that. I am sick and tired of the dishonesty. They literally go out in public and say they stole that.
Right.
They didn't steal it. They never steal it.
And the media allows that to run.
Oh yeah, because
they love it.
Because the media
it's only Republicans.
It's the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party.
When was the last time you heard of a Democrat playing a song and the artist? I do not support that communism.
We literally hate them. REM came out and said, it might have been Trump. Trump was using the end of the world.
Right.
Well, they came out and said we would never allow that. In fact, we literally hate him. And let me tell you something. All the millions and millions of people that support Trump, they're glad that you literally hate them. Because they literally hate you. Because they know as an artist, you're a communist. And communists are evil.
Right.
And these good people that are supporting Republicans, they hate communists because they hate evil, and that's why they hate you. I just wanted to let you know that. Let's just get that off my chest right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Hey,
Neil Young came out. Oh, you're not allowed to use my song.
Who do you say that about?
Whoever was using it was a Republican.
No.
Yeah, Neil Young.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other one.
John Young.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, the crazy man with the guns and the hunter, and he has the gun sitting in his living room waiting to fire itself. Ted Nugent.
How do you get Neil Young and Ted Nugent mixed up? I've never seen them in the
They're
same
in the same place together ever.
You have never seen them in the same
And
place.
you never will.
Never.
It's not possible. So Karl Rove opens up his Rolodex for Ben Carson. Republican strategist Karl Rove helped set up a meeting between top fundraisers for Ben Carson and casino mogul Steve Wynn. So he'll win.
Of course.
Well, if Karl Rove and Ben Carson are working together, I got a problem.
Yeah,
Karl Rove is the GOP. He is the money man.
Mr. Establishment.
Mr. Money Man GOP establishment.
Do you know what his claim to fame is? That, and you do not want to see that gesture. You do not want to see that gesture. No, so Brian's losing it. So, no, his claim to fame besides that is...
so he's done more than just that.
Oh, more than that.
Okay.
Okay, so on the quick answer is that he is the architect behind the wins that George W. Bush... Bush.
Whoa!
Bush. Woo! He almost had to censor me.
Bitch Bush.
Bush. Yeah. So the victories, the two victories, the 8-year run of George W. Bush can be attributed to Karl Rove, but there's a specific thing that he said we're going to do to win this election. And you know what that was? We're going to put gay marriage on the ballot for the year of the presidential election, and it caused all the evangelicals to come out
and revolt.
So the people who voted against gay marriage also voted for Bush, and that was how he won the election. And that was Karl Rove's idea, so that's his claim to fame. That's it. That's all he did.
What a pathetic loser.
It was his idea. Put gay marriage on the ballot. We'll get the evangelicals out in droves.
Well, Sarah Palin really dislikes Karl Rove and vice versa.
Well, that's because she recognizes him for the establishment guy.
You know, it's something that kind of sticks in my craw about her is that she didn't come out and tell everybody about everything that was going down until they lost, till it was all over with.
What do you mean?
Like she should have been able to come out and...
Oh, you mean when she was actually the candidate for VP.
Right.
Okay.
I don't
right.
know.
She had to. Here's the thing. She's trying to win. If she had to come out and there was
self-destructive,
the infighting that was actually going on that nobody knew about because she had to maintain silence.
Right.
Should not have come out at that time. You're saying that it was upsetting to you to not know about it until after they lost.
Right.
And they had the nerve to blame it on her.
Well, that's what you do, though.
They said, "Damn it."
Well, that's the liberal way. But we're dealing with rhinos who are liberals.
Yeah, she was a brilliant pick. I'm not sure if they really were that worried about her ideology, her appeal to the Tea Party. If they had that much of a problem with it, they could have picked somebody else as a VP candidate.
Right, that's true.
So whatever.
I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. Hey, 1 in 5 British Muslims sympathize with ISIS.
British Muslims.
1 in 5 British Muslims sympathize with ISIS.
Okay, well,
there are roughly 2.6 million Muslims in England. So according to this poll, over 500,000 British Muslims sympathize with the Islamic State. The numbers are even higher for Muslim Utes.
Utes? What's a Ute?
Utes supporting ISIS.
What's a Ute?
A Utes.
Utes? Yeah. What's a Utes?
You know, a youngin'.
Oh, youths.
Youths. Can you... 500,000 youths supporting... They're like, yeah, we're down with ISIS. It's in Britain.
That would be very troubling if I was a Brit.
Seems to be. I mean, you're on an island. It's kind of small.
Yeah, and when you 2.6 million, what's the population of England? I mean, that's a big chunk. Everybody's in burqas in the streets. They make burqas. That company, London Fog, they make burqas.
London, do they?
Waterproof. Got to be waterproof.
They got to.
Yeah, it rains every single day in England.
63 million.
So 2.5 million of them are Muslim.
Right.
That's actually kind of smaller than I thought. I mean, I thought that they were totally ransacked.
Well, that'd be like just under 5% of the population.
Okay.
So, I mean, whatever, right? I just...
Yeah, a little bit under 5%. I mean, what's the percentage of Muslims in America?
Oh, what are you doing to me?
Come on, Mr. Producer, let's go. Nah, you don't have to figure it out. What else is on our... World War III we covered, Trump.
0.8%.
In America?
Yeah.
Okay.
2.6 million.
And it seems like
hold on,
50% of them have already attacked us.
2.6 million.
2.6 million what?
Muslims in America.
Yeah, that's less than 1%.
There's 2.6 million in England.
Huh. Coincidence? I think not.
It's both by Wikipedia.
Oh, you got this from Wikipedia?
No.
Somebody copied and pasted.
No, idigitaltimes.com.
Okay.
Anywho. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so what's going on in Chicago?
It is pandemonium throughout.
We're already on lightning round, so you better hurry.
All throughout Thanksgiving, Black Lives Matter or Don't Matter took over an entire major strip, shut down all the stores for Black Friday.
Hilarious.
In protest of the 15-year-old boy that was shot 17 times, apparently high on crack cocaine, and wouldn't listen to the officer. So I'm not saying you should be shot by an officer by not listening to him, but if a cop tells you to stop, as much as I really dislike a lot of cops, the other night at the restaurant where you and I met up at last night.
Yeah.
When I told you the cops pulled in that parking lot and said, "Hey, do you work here?" I'm like, "No." Like the cop charged my truck as I got out.
Really?
Like, I mean, he was walking fast, like charging. Jumped out of his cruiser, started coming right at me. I'm like, I walked right to him. So, what's up, brah?
Yeah?
He's like, where you from? I'm here, man.
Cincinnati.
West Side.
Okay.
West Side.
Oh, and he said, oh, okay.
He's like, yeah, we're down.
Okay.
No, he's like, hey, do you work here? I'm like, no. Why? There's an alarm. A business broke into.
Oh.
I looked at him and said, it beats me. Okay. I'm going to the bar. And he just about face, turned around, walked away.
So somebody broke into were you at the burger joint?
I was, yeah. No, I parked across the street in the dark parking lot with all the businesses blacked out. They're all shut down.
Not in the burger joint.
No, across the street from me.
No. But you didn't say, go blank yourself and run.
What do you want, copper? Stop. Suck it.
Pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like
bacon.
Yeah, that.
No, I didn't do none of that, man. Okay. And you know what? He didn't shoot.
You know why? Because white lives matter? Is that why?
Hashtag Black Friday matters. That went viral.
No way.
Yes, that
Black Friday matters.
That went viral.
That is the worst materialistic crap.
Uh-oh.
What?
We're down to a minute and 58.
Climate change can create a perfect storm. Of course. I'm just... Oh, yeah. So go out and buy his albums.
Yeah, because
I'm going to find his Twitter account, and I'm going to thank him for not being such a bigot.
I showed my kids the makeup and all the different looks he had.
Everybody had makeup back then.
They were shocked. My daughters were shocked. I couldn't take it. They're like, "This is Daddy, that's a man."
Well, the hair is kind of pretty.
He had it kinked. It was
I don't know.
What was the word for it? Crimped. It was all crimped and kinked. Yeah,
His hair is very kinky.
Very kinky. So, as we go out, once again...
You guys are welcome to use our show as show prep this week. I know Rush will probably do that, and Hannity, and definitely Glenn Beck.
Yeah, oh...
Because it's going to be all about the stupid Planned Parenthood thing this week.
Is Glenn Beck still... He's still got a show?
Oh! No, not really.
Man, I am so late on that bell. Well, folks, you have a good evening. All over the place for you.
I was going to say, that was the longest minute ever.
Yeah, it was...
Going out with, nope, we're not going to take it.
I was going to.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.
Peace out.